This is not a drill.
Repeat, this is not a drill.
Is that all you got?
Let's begin. What up? Shall we begin? Let's begin now. Let's begin now.
Infantry Outdoors live stream is brought to you in part by Silver Connections Group, a digital marketing agency providing website development, Google boosting, social media management, and so much more. Visit them online at silverconnectionsmobile.com or call today. Also by water purification products, pure water at your fingertips, providing the complete package, including sales, installation, and service, fully licensed and insured. Visit them at waterpurificationproducts.com or give them a call today. Pure water is at your fingertips. And Mayhem Studios for all your multimedia needs. They'll give your videos a professional look. Contact them at mayhemstudios@yahoo.com. And also, don't forget, use promo code INFANTRY to unlock more savings.
My name is DJ Infantry, and I am legally blind. My passion for the outdoors has taken me to some amazing places, and I have done some incredible things, all with one mission in mind: to inspire you to get outdoors.
Pain I felt is paid for, all is said and done. Oh, I am restricted, fixed upon the web. I need to kick the habit that my mind is breathing in. Break out, I've got to see. Break out, I've got to see. Spent all my life holding all of it closely. I played it innocent, a feel of discontent. I'm finally facing it all, fearless.
Welcome to Infantry Outdoors. Like we used to say in the old days, hi, yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Friday Night Live here on Infantry Outdoors. We do it every Friday night starting at 10 p.m. Eastern Time on YouTube and Facebook Live. So whichever platform you are tuning in from tonight, welcome, welcome, welcome. We are honored to have you. Just do us a big solid and hit that thumbs up button, because it really does help the algorithm to let other people know that we are live tonight. And I have got an amazing show lined up for you. But before we get into our guest and our topic for tonight, as always, let's do a weekly recap. Sound off if you guys, as you guys come into the chat, let me know you're here. That way I can say yellow, yellow, yellow to you. And also, did anybody check out this week's episodes? If you did, comment, because I would love to know. Remember, we do Trapping Tuesdays every Tuesday, and we've got our regular upload every Wednesday. And, of course, we live stream every single Friday. Like, I missed last week just because I didn't have nothing to talk about. And the one thing I've learned in broadcast, if you ain't got nothing to say, just don't. Just don't. So I didn't. But, yeah, man, we had a great week. Trap line's still going strong. We're getting ready to grow the trap line, so it's going to get even better. Hope you guys are tuned into that. This week we talked about on Wednesday on how to salt the hide and prepare it for getting it ready to tan. And next week, of course, we'll show you how to tan those raccoon hides. But it's been a lot of fun on the process. If you guys got any comments, questions, or concerns, always write to us at infantryoutdoors.com. Be sure to go by and check out the website. You can check out all of our merch, all of our t-shirts that we have available on Amazon, our recommended products. And we even have a new product up there, which will be coming to you guys very soon. I've just partnered with Jace Medical to bring you guys Jace Case and their products. So we got that coming up. I just put a wicked commercial together for that. It'll be coming out to you guys probably in the next week or so. So be on the lookout for that. But I think that's all I have for the weekly wrap-up. How was your week? I hope you guys had an amazing one, and I hope you have an even better weekend. So with all that said, Fred, he's not dead. He's just Fred. That's what I said. We're going to go over and talk about tonight's guest and what we got going on tonight. It's a very special program. As you guys can tell, we're talking about the Forgotten Era veteran. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm not going to talk about it. I'm going to let an actual veteran come up here that is from the Forgotten Era, and he's going to tell you all about it. He's also a very good, close personal friend of mine. He is a veteran of the United States Armed Forces. He is the owner of vetinfo.org, and he is a hell of a man. I'll tell you what, this guy's always working. Every time I try to call him, he's like, if you guys watch YouTube, he's Banjo. If you guys follow Flair, big business guy, always in the business meeting over here. So with that said, I'm honored to bring on my friend, as always, Mr. Bill Watts. Bill, how you doing tonight, brother?
Hey, good evening, Infantry Outdoors. What's going on, everyone?
I'm going to actually, let's go this way so it makes us bigger. There we go. And later,
Bigger.
Yeah, well, my wife was just saying, is that Bill in the thumbnail? He looks like he lost weight in that picture. I was like, yeah, well, Bill's looking good.
A little bit.
It's all that activity that you're doing. So what I'm going to do here, let me switch this real quick, because later we're going to go to this. Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. We're going to go this way later, Bill. That way we got the video up here. I won't be here and you'll be here to talk to the folks. I mean, I'll still be here, but that's the game plan for it. Over in the chat, we've got John Wolf Prospecting. Hello, all. Good to have you, John. Happy Friday to you, sir. Bill, let me start off by saying this to you from myself and all of my family and viewers. Thank you for your service, brother. Thank you very much for what you've done for us and for my family and for my country. And for those that have no clue that you've done anything for anybody, just like the military people, thank you for them. And thank you and thank you and thank you. So,
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Vash Matrix, good evening to your brother. Bill, what did you leave? Or what did you leave the military as? What was your rank when you left?
I was a sergeant promotable to E6.
Okay.
I had to leave due to health issues.
Okay. Actually, let's take a minute. I'm going to step back and John, okay, what does he say? 11 he 9 here. 11, wait, do you know what that means? Bill? 11 HP 9 here.
No, because he
Oh,
may
no.
have been in service after me. I don't know.
Okay,
Or he's
yeah.
trying to say hello.
It's 11 HE 9 here.
John, not really familiar with that nomenclature there.
And if I put them up here, you know what? If I put them like, hold on, let me see something. Because I always put the chat up here, and I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. There's that comment there. Can you read that on your side? I don't know what you can see back on your side.
I see John Will says 11 Hotel 9.
Okay, perfect. Now, what if we go
A tow gunner.
the toe gunner? Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Tony says hello, Bill. I'm gonna start dropping some comments up here. Okay. Yeah, 11 Hotel 9. Okay, and then toe gunner. Yep, we got that one. And then what I'm going to do from this point is I'm going to overlay the chat like we do every week, so you guys can be part of the show until we go to the video part. But Bill, I want you to take a minute, introduce yourself to the viewers that have never seen you. Bill is actually a partner of mine here on the program. You can always find vetinfo.org and their info down in my description boxes, whether we're live streaming, whether we're partying, whether we're fishing. It doesn't matter. They're always down there, the people that I partner with in the community. And these are people that it's really getting the word out. There's no advertising. There's no nothing. It's straight partners helping people in the community. And people like Bill are a good reason why we do this. And you'll find out here in a minute. But if you guys want to check out vetinfo.org, it's all Bill's contacts are down below. So with that said, let me put you up on the big box, buddy. And for now, boom. And go ahead, tell the folks all about my brother Bill.
All right, everyone. I'll start from the beginning there. For those of you that aren't here from the military, went to basic training at Fort Jackson, South Carolina. Went over to AIT in Fort Gordon, Georgia. I had actually wanted to be Special Forces, but due to a little red-green deficiency in sight, they would not let me go Special Forces. So I took a 31 Charlie job. I was in the last class to go through. Just so happens 31 Charlie could go with anybody, Special Forces, Rangers, or any of the specialties.
Okay.
Just so happens there were 28 people in my class. 27 of them all 28 of us went to Fort Hood, Texas. 27 of them went to a signal battalion. Yours truly went to an air defense company. So once I got there, I was told, you're going to learn this equipment as well. So I had to learn a Vulcan gunner and a Stinger missile, which are both used in air defense. So I deployed with the 1st Cavalry Division out of Fort Hood, Texas, to Desert Storm when Saddam invaded Kuwait. Mm-hmm. And part of our topic tonight is going to be some of the drugs and things that were given to the soldiers before and while they were overseas, mm-hmm. And how it made a lot of us sick.
We just got to make sure, Bill, that if at all possible, we got to keep what we say kind of YouTube friendly so we don't get in trouble. Okay. code words if you need to. We'll know what you're saying though.
All right. Well,
I don't know how to
anyhow,
open a red flag. But yes, I will.
served over in the Gulf War. Participated in the ground invasion. I'm trying to figure out how to keep this friendly.
No, you can pretty much say anything, but just like when you say the D word, kind of like that instead of using the full. They don't like that DRUGS word on here. At least I don't think they do.
All right. Well, anyhow, we were administered all these happy pills, and
there you go.
Injections.
Well, I wanted to ask you something. If you could go back for a second, you said that you were trained when you were sent over there on Stinger missiles, and what was the other one?
Vulcan gun.
Okay.
For those that don't know what a Vulcan is.
Yeah, there you go. Talk to me. I don't know what that is.
Okay. If anybody ever watched the movie Predator.
Oh, yeah.
With Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Great movie.
And let me see, who was it? Randy Savage, I believe, was the actor. He pulled out this gun that had about 8 barrels on it. And it spun real fast.
Yeah, I want one.
Okay. Imagine that about 5 times that size. Shooting rounds that high incendiary rounds, high explosive rounds, tracer rounds, about 2,000 rounds a minute.
Oh crap!
Now you can level an entire building with that gun.
What was it attached to? Because that's what I was going to ask you when you said
it was attached. It was part of an armored vehicle
on the roof or on the bed.
Roof of an armored vehicle. Then in the back of it, you would have a Stinger gunner. In case it was jets or fast movers, they could drop the back hatch, and the Stinger gunner run out of the back hatch and be able to fire at the jets as they went by. The Vulcans were more or less would be used for like the helicopters, and if they can get a shot at a jet, then they would take the shot as well.
Okay, so mostly anti-aircraft.
Yes, that's what air defense artillery is, anti-aircraft. But if you go whoops and it hits something else, technically you're not supposed to be using big guns on anything but equipment. Well, if they had on a vest, that's a piece of equipment.
Yeah, well, there you go.
John Wolf could probably verify to that, being a tow gunner.
Yeah, John, I would love to hear from you on that one, actually. Yeah, chime in on that one. Because when you said Stinger missiles, that's what kind of threw me off for a second. The Vulcan didn't get me so bad, but when you said, I was training Stinger missiles. Now,
the Stinger missiles, what that is basically a shoulder-fired missile.
Like a freaking bazooka?
A little bit smaller looking, but, it has all this radar-type equipment that would fold out to help track the plane as you're getting ready to shoot at it, and it puts out a tone. If it's friendly aircraft, it puts out one tone. If it's unfriendly, then it'll put out a totally different tone, let you lock onto the target and fire away. That's as they say in air defense artillery, if it flies, it dies.
If it flies, it dies. Wow. That's incredible, dude. That's just like, because again, a Stinger missile, when you say a Stinger missile, I think of an F-16 fighter plane has a Stinger missile, or a jet fighter has a Stinger missile, not a person has a Stinger missile. That's pretty incredible.
The cool thing was, DJ, is once we got overseas, we were in Saudi Arabia at the port in the beginning. They put a lot of people, or most of the people from 1st Cavalry Division, inside of coal warehouses. They took all the coal out, did a quick sweep of the floor. All your stuff still ended up with black coal on it. So after about 2 or 3 days there, I was so sick. I mean, I don't know if it was from the happy stuff they gave us, or the food there, or being exposed to that, the heat. You would see people just full sprinting for the bathroom. They would be so sick.
Wow.
And
did they tell you when you keep saying happy medicines, when they gave you the medicines, did they tell you what they were giving you, or was that something?
There were some of the medications that were given to us, we have no idea. I had a debate with somebody the other day, and
What were you told at the time? What were you told at the time?
basically
I
take
don't
it.
know about you,
shut
but you're
up,
not sticking me with nothing unless I know what the hell you're doing somewhat.
well,
So
if put it this way, in the military,
mhm.
you either take it or you're non-deployable. If you're non-deployable, they can take legal action against you.
Wow.
Okay.
Gotcha.
So basically, the way it worked, and you'll hear about it in the video later, is they took us into a gym, lined us up. Okay, go to this station, this station, this station. You're getting shots left and right, given whatever vaccinations that you needed to be sent overseas. The
Now,
anthrax.
did they tell you they were giving you the vaccinations? Hey, Bill, this is so and so vaccination. But
Some of them they did not.
Okay, because that's what I was going to ask you. Like, did they tell you the vaccines you were given and didn't tell you the other stuff?
I only remember one name out of everything, and the only reason I remember that name is we had this lieutenant that thought he was Mr. Barney Badass.
Okay.
Oh, why are these people jumping around like that after that shot? It hurt so damn bad. And so it finally came this lieutenant's time. He got up there. They pulled his pants down, or he pulled his pants down, bent over, and they hit him with that medication, and he passed out. He became the laughing stock that day.
Some people
he just passed the hell out in the middle of the gym floor with his pants down, off his butt. Some people
can't do that, bro. Me, like me, I get anxiety like an MFer if I even try to go to a hospital. Like my hands would that's how I got diagnosed with anxiety. I was in the hospital because I have this scar. I don't know. Well, you guys won't see it in the little screen, but a big scar across my hand. And while I'm in the hospital,
no means no.
Yeah, no means no. No, I did it actually at a radio station event. I went to cut the banner down, and the knife slipped and cut right through that part of my hand. But I'm sitting there, and the lady's trying to fix it. My hands are shaking, my body's shaking. She's like, "You ever been diagnosed with anxiety?" I was like, "No, why?" She goes, "Because you can't stop shaking. Like, I have to give you Valium just to work on you. You're gonna have to wait a little bit." Sure enough, by the time she was done, I'm diagnosing you with severe anxiety. She's like, "What's wrong?" I'm like, "I hate hospitals." Period. So shots, I could see that. I'd probably pass out. I don't give blood. I'll probably pass out from that. I'm sure there's other people out there like that, But I'll go jump on an alligator's back, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. Just because I can't.
More power to you. But
exactly.
What I was going to say, I was sick from being stuck in that port. It could have been what they had given us. It could have been the food, whatever. First sergeant comes up and says, "Hey, we got to send a Stinger platoon out in the desert. You guys are going to be out there by yourselves for 3 days to a week, hiding in rocks and everything else and you're going to set up air defense for the rest of the division to roll out into the desert." Okay. So there were about 14, 15 of us were out running around the desert. And it was just us. And it was a team of 2. And someone was always up. And they were probably anywhere from 5 kilometers to 10 kilometers away from each other. So there was no way for anybody to really, join up and fight if there was a fight. Mm-hmm. If we got attacked while we were out there.
That's crazy.
So
y'all were literally the infantry.
Basically, we were everything at the moment till the rest of the division rolled out.
You were infantry's infantry. You were the first ones before the first ones. Jeez.
But I volunteered to go out there. So just to keep us moving along, we start the air campaign. Which was, a few weeks of nothing but bombing and a well-executed air game against Saddam Hussein's army. During this time, the 1st Cavalry Division, unknown to people back here in the U.S., we had already started going up in this wadi and doing little excursions with the Iraqis to make Saddam's forces think we were going to bring the main force up this wadi to attack.
Okay.
And one day during one of these excursions, we went in about 29 kilometers, or my company did, and we had a bunch of Iraqis up on a hill that decided they were showing that they were surrendering. So we were told to go, or the units were all put on weapons safe or weapons hold to take the prisoners. About this time, a bunch of other Iraqis, which were off to our right flank, opened fire with anti-tank rounds and everything else. And one of the people from my unit actually got hit in the chest with an anti-tank round.
Oh, God.
Was not pretty.
Was nothing left, I'd imagine.
Anyhow, it pretty much destroyed the top of the Vulcan. Shrapnel went through and hit the Stinger missile in the back.
Wow.
It sucked all the paperwork out of the track. Everything that was in it that could fly got sucked out of there.
Now, why is that? I've heard about that. That's a certain type of detonation that does that, correct?
Well, this wasn't actually. It was just the velocity.
Okay.
You know, like you've seen a train go through a station, and if it's hauling ass, you see all the paperwork go right behind.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like that.
I know there's a type of explosion.
Yes, they do have the detonation that will actually suck all the air.
Yeah, that's the
out from a certain area.
Can't
Yes,
remember the
you
name
have
of it.
that's normally exploded above the target, and it just sucks all the air out.
Okay.
So anyhow,
That's nuts.
we had one fatality, and we had another injury in the back. He ended up with shrapnel, went into his eye and into his brain. Then
How many are you on this vehicle? 4?
on that particular vehicle, there were 4.
Okay.
I was not on that particular one. Later on that day, though, I ended up driving it out and sitting outside the berm where the rest of the units were stationed until the engineers could come out and check and make sure if the Stinger was safe enough for me to bring the track the rest of the way in. So I sat out there for about 12 hours having to breathe. One of the smells you'll never forget is blood and gunpowder. And sitting out there breathing that for about 12 hours.
No. And you're in a vehicle that potentially could still explode.
Correct. The Stinger could potentially still explode.
Yeah, you're sitting on a time bomb, smelling the gates of hell for 12 hours.
Pretty much.
Horrible. That's horrible. After you just got booty shot with a whole bunch of crap, you don't know what it was.
Exactly.
What the hell kind of day were you having? Oh, wow.
That was not a good day. Within the next 24 to 48 hours, we actually held a open boot ceremony, which is where you set the soldier's boots there, and you stick his weapon in the ground, and you put his Kevlar helmet on top of the weapon.
Yep.
And
Yep.
I think I've never seen so many grown men crying at one time.
Yeah.
And the first thing was, forget this shit. Let's go fight. We're done with this. We're tired of sitting. Let's go. And so basically within the next few days, they started firing MLRSs from right there, right beside where we were at. That stands for multiple launch rocket systems. And it was on like Donkey Kong then. One of our Vulcans broke down, and me and the first sergeant stayed with the crew to get it back going, and we had to catch back up. The 1st Cavalry Division actually pulled back and went around everybody to separate the Republican Guard from getting back into Baghdad in Iraq.
Wow.
So we did a big sweeping movement behind everyone while everybody attacked forward. So at one point, it was just the Vulcan and me and the first sergeant in another truck trying to play catch up. We spent one night with 3rd ACR. During that night, we got in me and the first sergeant had the only soft vehicle, which was a Humvee. Everybody else was in tracks, tanks, and different stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
About 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, after I haven't slept in about 3 days, I hear, I'm like, what? I open my eyes. The next thing I know, I've got tracer rounds flying all around my truck. So I get it thrown in reverse. We back up and we start doing some small arm fire. And all of a sudden you hear all these tanks crank up and you see the turrets turn on them. And it's like 3 or 4 of them at one time, just boom. Didn't have anybody else shooting at us for the rest of the night.
Wow, dude. I mean, that's nuts. And I've watched, you all know you go down the YouTube rabbit holes like I do. So I've watched like the footages where they show fake footages and real footages from the Afghan war. And that real stuff, man, is just, it's intense. It's life-changing. I don't know if I could do it. I mean, I probably could if I had to. And to be honest, I tried to enlist. I was one that said, screw it. My dad was like, you know what? He said this with a smile. You go ahead and you try. That's all I'm going to say to you. I'm like, no, well, he didn't want to tell me no. He didn't want to tell me no. He's like, you never know. Maybe you can land 4F. I'm like, okay, let me at least try. So I called everyone. Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine, Coast Guard. None of them would take me. And every single one of them, I'm like, dude, all you got to do is point me in the direction and say, go. That's it. No, sir, we can't do that.
Well,
I tried, Bill. I tried, but
I seen a lot of stuff driving down, through there. We end up taking several Iraqi prisoners of war. Then, right as we were getting ready to fully engage the Republican Guard, a ceasefire was called. But we'd already saw some of the combat. Mm-hmm. Me and another soldier had went out and we found this big, huge cache of rounds and ammunitions and stuff. And we went back, reported it, and they blew a lot of it up. Just so happens inside of it was some sarin gas as well.
Now explain that for those that don't or have never heard, because you don't really hear that anymore. That's like from I hate to say it, our era, because I'm part of it too. I grew up during that. I remember watching it.
You'd be surprised at some of the stuff that's still out there, even though it's old.
Well, no, I get that, but it's not something we still regularly hear of nowadays, like you did back then.
There's still stockpiles of it. Remember, Saddam Hussein actually used that to kill the Kurds.
Yes.
Hundreds of thousands of them.
Go ahead and explain what sarin gas actually is.
It is a nerve agent. I don't remember. I'm sorry. It's been a long day for me. I don't remember the exact effects, but it will, cause you to choke and all kind of stuff. There's some nerve agents that you'll start bleeding from your eyes. Your skin will start having rashes and blisters on it. I'm like I said, I'm sorry I don't have that information.
No. Just whatever you can recall. You don't have to be scientific. Like it'll kill you. You can't breathe. I mean, what did you experience? Because you experienced.
I was there, but the level was so low that it didn't set off the detection devices.
Okay.
But we stayed in it for an extended period of time.
So you still absorbed the same amount had it been a higher amount or less time.
Yeah. There's still, Congress approved all kind of stuff back in the day. They're still trying to determine, was it the cart paint, the special paint put on the vehicles?
Mhm.
Was it the sarin gas? Was it
Wait, was it the car paint? What are we in the 70s and y'all were using freaking lead paint?
CARC, CARC?
Oh.
I can't tell you what it stood for.
Okay.
But,
I thought you said car, CAR paint, PAI.
no, CARC.
Okay.
I would assume it's a special paint that's used to so you're not detected by radar.
Okay.
Okay.
I wonder if it's lead based.
It's quite possible that it was.
It's very possible because X-rays can't go through lead. Certain frequencies can't go through lead. So I don't know, Bill. I don't know.
Oddly enough, I was just doing a research review earlier today, and the subject on that review was mustard gas, the same mustard gas that was used in Vietnam, World War I, World War II, Korea.
And
it was
don't taste
even
like mustard.
Yeah, it was even available in Desert Storm as well.
Yeah.
And from the reviews of the stuff I was doing, there is a stockpiles of mustard gas all over the world. And I know it affects the lungs because there's a lot of Vietnam veterans out there that are sick from mustard gas.
Just imagine one eventful day. There's a stockpile, like you said. Okay. From the heavens comes a giant lightning bolt and hits that entire stockpile and sends it up into the air. That's a giant stockpile.
Oh yeah.
I'm not painting the right kind of picture, but you get where I'm going. If a lightning bolt were to hit that and something were to happen, that's a lot. That could probably kill like countries.
Well, the big fear of that is it can be used in terrorist act.
Oh yeah.
It can still be used in combat because if you think about it, if you use a chemical agent, it will eventually disperse. Therefore, the vehicles, the buildings, all that good stuff is still there. What's missing is the people because they're all dead.
Gotcha.
So it is, if you're wanting to take over a country, unlike Russia's doing right now, they're just blowing everything up because it don't look like they're going to win there.
They're just Hail Marying it right now.
That's what it looked like to me.
That's what it looked, and I'm a civilian. They're Hail Marying it, like, oh God, just screw it, blow it all up. At this point, we're not going to get it what we want.
Oh, I don't think Putin realized what he was biting into there. I just don't think he does. But anyhow, we made it through the war. A lot of the people that got the anthrax shot got it in country, or they were like in Europe when they deployed to there and they received it.
That's another one.
I honestly don't remember if I got that particular shot. If you'll notice in the video, I said it's a possibility. I got it, but later that I got it that day in the gymnasium. But later on, I confirmed it that nobody coming from the United States, which is called CONUS, had received it until they got overseas. But like I said, I was all over the place.
And you don't know what you got. So
there was at least 3 or 4 that I have no idea.
That still blows my mind. Like, I mean, I get it, but you still to this day, and how long have you been out of the military?
I have been out since 1996. So
still to this day, because you don't know if they put in performance enhancers. You don't know if they put in. You don't know what they did. That's the crazy part about it. Folks, infantry don't even go to the doctor. You're gonna take me to a hospital. Like I told my wife, you roll me in a hospital, there's gonna be something really wrong. I don't go to doctors. I don't like people giving me stuff to put in my body. No. God made it the way it is, and that's good enough.
Well, they gave us these pills. They're called premium bromide, or for short, PB pills.
Come back up and join me here. Boop. That way there we go.
Okay. anyhow, they gave us these pills, and we actually had to stand there, open your mouth, put it in your mouth, drink, open your mouth. Can you see it?
Lift
Is
up
it-
like a damn prisoner. Lift up your tongue.
Pretty
Move your
much.
tongue around. Jeez.
Pretty much bend over and take it. So anyhow, we took those. So there's been several researches. There's still research going on today to try to determine what is wrong with the 200,000+ out of the 700,000 that deployed during Desert Storm or the first Gulf War.
John, I might have missed this, but let's go back real quick. John says that mustard gas is bad stuff. Defense against it is bad as well.
Exactly.
But what's defense against it? Like, what would you defend against mustard gas? I mean, everything breaks down, like you said. So,
yeah, if most chemical attacks are done, early morning or late afternoon, you don't want winds and you don't want bright sun, because that would deteriorate the chemical.
it'll dissipate it and vaporize it faster.
Correct.
Right.
So that's why this is a known fact. The military PII is on a rag to breathe through. I don't know what a PII is.
Good. You can see it. Okay. Sorry about that.
Yeah, it shows up on the right hand side.
Okay. PII.
And, you mentioned coal dust will make you sick. So, yeah, I had some black
I was gonna
boogers.
bring that up earlier when you said coal and you said you got sick. The first thing popped in my head was the coal dust, because coal miners, they don't last long. So
Correct.
that might be another side symptom that you never thought of, is what you got exposed to from the coal dust.
Well, it just so happens that
We said
as of
the ammonia breaks down the gas. He literally said pee. Well, he didn't say that, but pee.
yeah. Well, luckily we had gas mask and
it's like
clothing to wear, unlike the Vietnam veterans that were pretty short on a lot of stuff.
Yeah, no, that's pretty. I mean, I'm laughing because we're Florida boys. Bill, what do you pee on when you go to the beach and get stung? It's like
Pee on somebody.
No, you pee on the jellyfish sting. It's like, so.
Yeah.
If I ever get hit with mustard gas, I just got to make sure I got a full bladder that day. Not to make a joke, guys. I really don't. But, it's serious stuff. But, the man just said if you pee, the ammonia will break down the mustard gas. It's great. I'm going to keep that's going right here.
He works for a lot of stuff, man.
Look, it's all chemical breakdown, man. It really, because like he said, the ammonia in your pee-pee, it does a lot of things, man. It's sterile. You can sanitize things. No, I wouldn't do it. You can sanitize things with it. Yeah, I wouldn't go as far as. Have you ever drank your pee, Bill? You're a military man.
No, and don't plan on it. But
Me either. John, you're a military man. Have you ever drank your pee?
You don't
have to answer if you don't want to, but I'm curious because that's
John has the attitude, has the dog's attitude.
I wouldn't doubt it if he commented right now. Yeah, hell yeah, I did.
Yeah, so they also DJ.
Yes, sir.
They would also when the tubes of the mortars would get hot, they would actually pee on them. They would pee on the 60 cals. The barrels start glowing red.
Now, what was the anti-sarin gas? What would you combat that with? What would
that would be the PB pills that we'll hear about in the video later, as well as we had these injectors. You may have even taken a shot yourself now. That's actually based off of military technology. I forget the name of the injector, but you'd slam it into your leg and it would automatically shoot into you.
I've seen that movie.
So
I've only seen that in movies, like where they go and and it injects you right away.
Yeah,
that's pretty neat.
There was rumors about people were sleeping with those injectors. I even used my gas mask as a pillow quite a few nights, and normally you kept your injectors in there. And there was rumors, as always, that somebody went to sleep and somehow that injector exploded and shot into their head, or some crazy stuff like that.
What did if I have the injector and I'm exposed to the gas, am I supposed to inject myself while I'm in the gas? Like, what does it do?
Well, first you got to get on your protective gear, and then you worry about getting that shot. From what I remember, DJ, you gotta hang on. It's been 30 years.
I think
it gives you like an adrenaline rush until you can get to medical treatment.
Okay, I gotcha. And we're gonna
atropine. John got it. He knows the name atropine. There we go. The atropine injectors.
Okay. The fight for patriotism. What's up, Zach? I love our veterans. Well, we love you too, Zach.
Hey, Zach, what's going on?
He's got a great channel, Bill. I don't know if I've linked you with Zach yet, but he's a fellow disabled brother. He has cerebral palsy, and his channel is The Fight for Patriotism. Irregardless of his abilities, this man puts in the work. So if you get a chance afterwards, remember that name, The Fight for Patriotism. Go check him out. He really, and he has another channel called Unique Prepping, which I'm proud to be part of. I'll be guest spotting on there from time to time with Zach, which is exactly what it sounds like. Prepping for disabled people, for unique events and situations. So, Zach, good to have you, brother. Good to have you, man. John says, hold on. Infantry boy here. I see, I use infantry, first one in, last one out. That's how I got my name. I wasn't in the military. I was not. I will never say I was. My name was given to me by a Miami DJ that some of you may know from the 90s, DJ Laz. He had a whole bunch of booty albums that came out. He named me in the club one night because I was always the first one in the club and the last one to leave. And he said I battled with the best of them with my music. So that's how infantry came to be. So, big ups to infantry. First one's in, the last one's out.
John mentioned, it was a 3-pack. You are correct on that.
So what would they do for the gas? Like, okay, the gas is in the air. What do you do to get rid of it as the military person? Or you don't?
You don't.
You just let it dissipate.
You get your protective gear on. You see somebody start doing this number right here, which is the military symbol for gas. And everybody just starts throwing on their gear. You stop breathing, get all this stuff on, get it cleared, get your rest of your protective stuff on as fast as you can. You actually practice this in basic training.
Yeah, in the gas chamber.
They take you into a heavily filled CS gas chamber, and you got that mask on, and you're like, oh, wow, this is nothing, till they tell you to take it off and give your social security number, your name, and everything else. And you're like, the hell with this, I can't even breathe. Funny thing is, at Fort Jackson, about 6 feet out of the door of it, they had a big, huge pine tree that I've seen a lot of people run into. Because you're sitting there with snot, tears, everything coming out.
Yep. I can say this much. Is with all my hot sauce making, I forget sometimes that it gets under your nails, and I'll do one of these numbers. I don't think I would have too much of a problem with pepper spray at this point. And I'm being generally honest because I've made that mistake so many times. And I just, as a dummy, instead of go wash it out, I'm like, I just blink it out until it goes away on its own because there's nothing you're really going to do. But then you go into all that other gases. I couldn't imagine being in a gas chamber. I mean, like you said, snot running out, everything coming out. You can't see, can't breathe. Oh, no, man. That's a torture.
Yeah, I see John saying he was attached to infantry school at Fort Benning. I got to go there one time. That's where the Ranger School is as well.
See, that's the other one, CS gas. Because as a civilian, we could get CS and pepper spray or a combination of the two. I think the combination of the two is if you have a law enforcement, security, some type of license like that. I don't remember correctly because it's been a long time. You might be able to get both now. I just say, if you're going to mess around with that crap, go get you some bear spray and call it a day. All right. You spray someone in the face with bear spray, they're going down, Charlie Brown. I promise you that. But he don't need a mask because he's been exposed to so much CS gas. Vash Matrix says, thank you both for your service. We
Thank you,
appreciate that.
guys.
All right. So
I'm gonna run through it real quick because I don't know how much time you need for that video because it's actually a decent length video.
yeah, I was gonna say, do you want to jump into the video being that we're on the gas topic?
I was just gonna run through real quick, finish it off. Basically, finished off Desert Storm, went back to Fort Hood. From Fort Hood, deployed to Korea for a year. Came back to Fort Stewart from Korea. Went to Egypt, back to Fort Stewart, and I ended up getting also deployed to NTC. For those of you that know what that is, National Training Center, which is out in the Mojave Desert. Sucks. At Fort Irwin, I went there 9 times. I was so sick of the sand from all my deployments. I live literally 20 minutes from the beach here, and I don't go there unless somebody asks me to go. I just cannot stand sand anymore. So
I was gonna
all my deployments, but Korea, I had sand. So
sounds like somebody had some sand in his vagina.
Long story short, 2012, I was diagnosed with many of the symptoms of Gulf War illness, but the VA still don't have a coding system for it. Therefore, they don't say Bill Watts has Gulf War illness. They say Bill has this symptom, that symptom, that symptom, that symptom, that symptom. So about this time, I started working with some nonprofits. I'm on Team Dive for Vets. I was once the director of a fishing program that helped veterans. I started my own program, Vet Info, with Precious and Mark. They are both dependents of Vietnam era veterans, and we do everything we can to help out. So if you have some big business owners out there that would like to sponsor some of the stuff we do for veterans, you can donate at vetinfo.org. Just this past June, we took 20 veterans and we did a buffet breakfast for them. We took a 2.5-hour cruise on a 40-foot catamaran around Fort Lauderdale Bay. Then we came back, took them to lunch at Bubba Gump's, where we had the director of Vision 8, which covers part of Georgia, Florida, Puerto Rico, and the Virgin Islands, discuss lung health care, which has now become a big topic because of the veterans being deployed overseas. They're breathing in what's called particulate matter. So if somebody is concerned about that and they want to get into some of the research for lung stuff, just reach out to me at info at vetinfo.org, and I'll get you in touch with the right people on that.
And remember, all this is always linked in the video description you're watching. So click that down arrow, scroll down, and you'll see Bill and his contact there if you need that. If you forget that, what we're saying, it's always in every one of my videos for like, I don't know, years now. Bill's been in the description box. He's been a guest on here. So yeah.
For just DJ, I think DJ knows it now because I showed him the other day. For my work with the veterans, I sat on the Department of Veterans Affairs Research Advisory Committee on Gulf War illness. I sat on the Department of Defense congressionally mandated research approval program. I sat on the City of Doral's Research Advisory Committee. Not Research Advisory Committee, Military Advisory Committee. I work with some of the congressmen and senators here in South Florida for veteran outreach whenever they do events. I've received the Congressional Veterans Accommodation Award. I received the Florida Senate's Veterans Champion Award, and just 2 months ago,
he got a damn day named after him. I'm gonna put that one in there. My boy is on top of the world that he got a day named after him. Bill Watts Day is officially in the history books. Congratulations, my man, dude. Hey, if y'all ain't clapping at home, clap, because I don't got no day name. There ain't no Infantry Day. There ain't no John Day. There ain't no Vash Day. But there's a Bill Watts Day, dude. Like, I just had to put that one out there for you. I'm so damn proud of that. When I saw that text, I thought he was messing with me. I really did. I thought you're pranking me or something. Oh, I got a day named after me. No, no. So, sometimes because we're fishermen. So Bill will send pranks to me. I'll send pranks to him. Sometimes you got to go. Is he pranking me? No, he got a damn day named after him, dude. All that hard work since the day I met you has led. And all of that negative crap I told you to push aside, which what we're talking about and who we're talking about. Yep. All right. So that's a whole nother thing. But look where you have gone from just what you thought back then.
Well, you're gonna love this one then. The Tuskegee, the Miami chapter of the Tuskegee Airmen worked with Vet Info. And we are taking 20 veterans and their family members to the Miami Dolphins preseason game tomorrow night.
Sweet.
And we're going to take them, another 20 veterans, to the game the following week. So we're taking veterans to see the Dolphins play the Raiders. Then we're going to go see the Philadelphia Eagles, I believe it is.
That's awesome.
We're already working with the Tampa VA. I mean, not the Tampa VA, Tampa Bass Pro Shops. We're going to do an event up there. So if any of you are veterans and you live in the Tampa area, reach out to the Miami Vet Center, and it'll be on the Vet Info website eventually, so you can sign up.
How far is Tampa Bass Pro?
We're going to
Shops is 179.6 miles.
2.5 hours.
Yep.
Tampa really that far? I thought it was right here by the Gulf. I thought you were going to be like a minute away from me.
So we're doing that as well. We're fixing to do a suicide prevention walk as well, I believe, with the Miami-Dade County. And Miami-Dade County has also invited me back to help do their pescado, is some Spanish name, where moms and kids can come out fishing, and I go out and help them and bring along veterans and family members that have learned how to fish through me. Just so everybody knows, I'm also pro staff for Bass Pro Shops.
Yeah, boy. I'm still waiting on my lures. Yeah.
Me too.
Oh, you too, huh? You're still on the way.
Yeah.
Oh man. All right. Well, Mr. Bill, it is time for us to be what they call what the hell are these people called on YouTube that do this? I forget again. Where we watch reaction. We're gonna become a reaction channel because that's the only way we can do this. So what I want you to do, we have a video lined up for you guys. So I love you, but your chats are gonna stay over here. Can you still read chat when it's not like this?
I can see chats to the far right. Yes.
Okay. Because remember, I'm gonna drop down, or you're gonna drop down and be our kind of narrator. When you talk, I'm going to pause the video. And the reason we have to do that is just to keep it fair use on YouTube. So whenever you want to comment on something, just speak. I'll pause the video and we'll do it that way. With YouTube these days, man, they don't like me. I've been getting a lot of copyrights. I'll be honest.
Well, just so everybody knows, the video that Infantry is fixing to play actually won Best Director in the Hollywood Film Festival. And we're not talking Hollywood, Florida. We're talking Hollywood, California.
See, I just want to come stand next to you on some of these events, dude, because you are, oh man, you're like a damn celebrity. I'm telling you, you're a hidden celebrity and you don't even know that. All the places
I just do what I got to do to help the veterans, DJ.
Exactly, brother. You're an amazing guy. And what you want to tell the folks the title of this video and all that before we get started?
Yes, the title of the video is Gulf War Syndrome, Fact or Myth. A lot of the veterans have been told when they go to the VA, oh, it's all in your head. It's all in your head. Well, the director, Sue Carnes, put this together. She's actually from the UK, and she's trying her best to help get the word out. You're going to see a lot of of familiar faces from Congress back in 1991 in the Senate,
Yeah.
making all these statements how we're going to help the Desert Storm veterans. Well, you hear all about the reason DJ titled it the way he did tonight is no offense to anybody if they served in the OEF, OIF era. They've basically taken the Desert Storm veterans and swept the 200,000+ of us who are sick under the rug.
That's messed up.
They get the Desert Storm veterans get denied almost on a daily basis, even though they're sitting there sick. They have it in their medical records that they're sick, but yet they get denied compensation and pension claims.
It's like you didn't exist, or like you weren't important enough for what you did. And see that, I've always said, I firmly believe that anyone who leaves this country and goes to another foreign land and fights for our country, that person, when they come home, should always have a job, should be given a damn house, one house at least. You can't be greedy. Well, you get one home, you get a job, and you are at least taken care of that way for your return home. Now, it ain't like that way. This ain't a perfect world, and that ain't even in a perfect world. That's, damn it, dude, you could have died over there. So when you come home, I'm at least going to give you something. They don't even give these vets what they're promised. And I can say this because I'm not a vet and nobody can come after me for saying what I want to say. They don't take care of them for nothing. Even the best veterans in the best war don't get the treatments and things they need in the timely fashion that they need to be given in, or they're just pushed to the side, like Bill said. And it's terribly sad. It's horrible. The way
while you're in the military, it's hurry up and wait.
Exactly.
Once you get out of the military, let's wait.
Yeah.
And the veteran feels like they're just waiting on us to die so they don't have to worry about it.
That's exactly it. Well, you know where you should have said it is when you get out of the military is hurry up and die.
Yeah,
then they don't have to think about it.
Then they don't have to pay you. I mean, they're for the Vietnam era, they're just now admitting all the stuff about the mustard gas exposure and all that good stuff. It's just that, Afghanistan, the OEF guys, the OIF guys, it was highly politicized.
Yeah.
Desert Storm was so well put together tactically that during combat, there was only 300+ soldiers died. We kicked ass so efficiently and quickly. So I'm not taking anything away from these older guys. To me, as a Desert Storm veteran, my heroes are the World War I, World War II veterans. Mm-hmm. They didn't have the equipment we have today.
No,
all they had was a rifle and let's go freaking fight.
Yeah, and some of them some of them weren't even semi-autos back then. You started, I mean, what did the M1 Grand hold? Like 5 or 6 rounds?
Something like that.
Something like that. And then the Springer went ping. I love that thing. One day I'll have one. One day. But let's get into this video, Bill, because I'm curious, and I know the viewers are curious to see. And again, as we go through this, like I said, if you got a comment or something or anything that you want to point out specifically, just speak up. I'll pause the video, and that's what we're going to do. So I got to put you back over here so that you can go down yonder. There he is. All right. And then I'm going to go screen capture and go over here.
I'm glad I'm not drinking right now.
I know, right? There we go. That looks a whole lot better. Can you see that now, Bill?
Yeah.
All right. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen, from Vet. This is off the vetinfo.org website, by the way. If you guys want to check it out, it is linked in the description, as I've said all night. Go over to VetInfo. You don't have to be a vet to help. You don't have to be a vet to support. But we are there to help and support the vets. And like I said in tonight's video, tonight is a night that we're never going to forget. So with that said, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, let's check out this video. Good God. What is that gun, Bill?
I believe that's one of the tow missiles.
The tow missile? Okay. I want one of those for Christmas.
You'll also see a Vulcan flying here, firing in a minute.
Oh, nice.
It may be a little bit further in, but
Yeah, point
No
out.
one has been listening to our veterans, including the VA, including the CIA, including the DOD, frankly, including a majority of Congress, and all of us who waited too long to get in this issue.
You think?
Hello, my name's Karen Lowe. I'm the widow of Stephen Lowe, who served 15 years in the British Army. Steve's battalion got deployed to the Gulf, the first Gulf War. And that was probably the worst time of our lives.
I'm Rodney Street. I was a specialist in the stationed in Bamberg, Kitzigen.
God, look at that.
When we came down with orders to go over to the first Gulf War for Desert Shield. And
that's a Vulcan, DJ.
Oh, wow.
As well.
I served in the United States Army. I was assigned to the 1st Cavalry Division, 4-5 Air Defense Artillery, C Battery.
He's famous.
Deployed with the 1st Cavalry Division.
What was that on the bottom of that helicopter?
That was an artillery piece.
Meaning like a gun, right? A pew-pew.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Shield, Desert Storm, and Desert Calm.
Prior to deploying, we received our vaccinations in Kitzigen, multiple vaccines. I can't recall what they all were.
Oh, here we go. Can't recall.
All I can remember about that was they took us to a gymnasium and put us in a line, and you just went to about 8 or 10 different stations. You either received a shot or a pill or something. So it was quite a few shots. Wow. I know we got I can never pronounce it right.
Are those the actual ones that we just saw there, Bill?
That is pictures of them, yeah.
Holy crap. Okay.
Globium, something like that shot that hurt really, really bad. I believe we also.
I want to try to pause it on
DJ. Judith asked, it is a 20 millimeter about the Vulcan. It shoots
20 mil.
It did have a 50 cal that would ride on the side of it.
That things are awesome. 50, that's one of my dream guns too, but I might have to move it up to a Vulcan now. What does this say? Anthrax vaccine, add sword. What? And this is what they shoot you with in an injection?
Yeah.
Oh, God. Okay, let's keep going. I'm going to try to catch some of these because I'm curious so that we can, as viewers, read the labels of what you guys
also received the anthrax shots that day and quite a few other things to make us deployable.
To make you deployable by their accounts. Oh, wait, the MOD and the DOD said that the vaccination programs was voluntary. But what did you just tell me a minute ago? And you just said
it was not voluntary.
It was either get the shot or go home, pretty much.
Pretty much.
Okay. So we're clear on that. That's crystal clear.
We didn't sign anything, and it certainly wasn't voluntary. Mm-hmm. We were sent down, put in a line, and went through and got our shots. So there was nothing voluntary about it, and there was nothing to sign.
He left the army in 92, and he was quite, he was well, he was fit, he was, but while he was in the Gulf, after they had the injection.
Wait, there's some more. What does that say? Plague. What is plague back? What plague? The bubonic plague? Like, what is plague vaccine? That's kind of like.
We'll both know.
What's
Remember
that?
Stuff they gave you tell me we'll both know. They gave us stuff that we have no idea. Untested stuff.
Okay. Plague vaccine. Okay.
All right. He was paralyzed from his neck.
Here's another one. What does it say? Tdap vaccine. Tetanus. Okay, that's a step on it. I know what that is. Every fisherman knows.
Diphtheria and purchases.
Yeah, sure. Sure. TDAP. Gotcha.
Down, he said he just really couldn't move out of his wagon because John Major was going over. He got a roasting for it. Let's face it, you're in a war. You don't want to be sleeping in the back of an ammunitions wagon, not being able to move.
I do not remember anybody saying it was volunteer. If you did not take the shots, that made you non-deployable. So you pretty much had to take the shots or face the consequences.
The veterans were not notified. We were told that the reason they weren't is we didn't want the Iraqis to know what we were protecting the troops against.
Wait, that's a stupid comment by itself. We didn't want the Iraqis to know what we were protecting our troops against. But isn't that kind of like a contradictory statement? I mean, what do you care if you already know what they have and you're protecting them against it? They're just not going to use it. That's what I would think. Like, that would make sense.
You would think.
But I mean, all right, let's keep going because I see why you're saying this about this video. And look how old school everybody's dressed and everything back then.
Kennedy, after the Persian Gulf victory, there's unfinished business here at home. In a moment, Senator Al Simpson and I will face off. Al, all Americans share a sense of pride over our victory in the Persian Gulf and a sense of relief that our casualties were so low. I commend President Bush for his leadership and all the courageous men and women who risked their lives for our country. The unprecedented international alliance against Saddam Hussein offers hope for lasting peace in the Middle East.
DJ, pause it for 1 second right there.
All right.
You notice he said the casualty numbers were so low.
Mm-hmm.
Right during this time, they were trying to do a drawdown of troops right before we deployed.
Okay.
Or right before all this happened. While we were over there, I have friends that were in the mortuary business, per se. You do have military morticians and stuff.
Yep.
They received a shipment of 200,000 body bags, but only 300 plus were used.
No, it really was like, if you look at war in a whole, okay, look at all the wars that we've experienced over time. Look at how strategic that war was. Like, it was a chess game that was won in a few moves versus a long, drawn-out chess game. And that's one of the things that stands out about it is because it was just... Well, you were there, you just said it, 300-something casualty. You were part of the strategic chess moves that made that war. I mean, how many years were you over there? How long were you over there?
I was actually only deployed there for right over 6 months.
How much actual time would you say you spent in combat in that 6 months?
The air war, I believe, was 2 or 3 weeks. Then physical ground combat, we finished that in about 100 hours.
Okay, so what would you say, fair enough, in your 6 months that you were there, how much of that 6 months was spent actually combat? A week? 2 weeks? 3 weeks? 4 weeks?
I'd go 3.5 weeks.
So less than a month.
Less than a month. We kicked
the other 5 months, you're just kicking it in Afghanistan, securing the area, checking the perimeter, doing your dailies, and that's it. That's amazing. That's amazing. That is a strategy. That is a strategic war right there. Which makes you think, do you think, knowing what you know today, would the strategy still be the same in a up and coming situation?
I think they're moving more towards using drones than regular aircraft. But as most, and I guess as, let me find his name, as John Wolfe can probably tell you, the actual war is won on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And a desert is not a place you want to fight a war. Like Afghanistan and Kuwait, Iraq, all these places, sometimes you don't know who's the enemy. Because it happened in Vietnam as well. You know, you might have been standing there during the day. Hey, buddy, how you doing? At night, they're fighting you. So
yeah, because you don't know who's the soldier and who's the people you're trying to help.
correct.
That's horrible. That's horrible. You may go in and sit down with somebody that has the worst of intentions for you, and you're there with the best of intentions for them. That's crazy, man.
Oh, I don't know if the director of this video may actually be watching tonight. She said she was going to try to log in. I don't know if she's able to type that she's here, but Sue Carnes, great shout out to you. DJ,
this is a great video. This is great. Sorry we have to keep pausing it, but I just don't want to get YouTube in trouble. So, we have to do it like the reaction video people where we actually stop and react to it. So, but I kind of like this because I'm getting your real world put on what we're watching and what really went down, because as we all know, what we hear on this thing is horse crap compared to what's really going on in the world. So it's good. I like this. This is pretty cool. Let's keep going, Bill. Let's see what else they're going to say about the vets.
Is that there were only 2 sites that had the chemical munitions in it. The Iraqis, what they did was move the chemical munitions out of sites like the bunkers and other facilities, several of them, and moved them into the open and covered them up. So we agree with what the Iraqis have given us, the information, and have no other information to disagree with it at this time.
What is that map we're looking at right now?
Right now, you're looking, there's a picture of Saddam Hussein when they captured him.
Okay. You weren't there for that, though, were you?
No, I wasn't there for that.
Were you any way affiliated with anyone in that mission?
Not that I know of, because this was, I believe, run through by special forces.
Okay.
So that was a, kept quiet type situation.
Gotcha.
It's probably still even classified.
Probably. Well, I mean,
even though there's a few movies out about it.
Is he really or isn't he? It's like, no, you know what it is? It's him, Biggie, Tupac, Adolf Hitler are all just hanging out together somewhere, kicking it because, they're not really dead. And Elvis, we can't forget Elvis. Elvis is never going to die. I'm bad. I know. Let's keep going.
People had difficulty breathing. Oh,
wait. She said only 2 places were used gas. That can't be true, right?
I believe there was other places as well, because they were blowing stuff up. We were blowing stuff up. So there was more places.
Okay. Yeah, that just didn't sound right. Oh, only 2 places were exposed to gas. I don't think so.
Chemical detectors went off multiple times. They said that there was no threat. I'm not so sure.
Look at that. What is that from?
These are some of the rashes that the veterans are getting. I have a friend that gets covered in rashes like that. I believe that one picture was of Rodney, one of the veterans, the guy with a beard that's talking. I believe that's some pictures of him. Now he breaks out with a rash.
This is like current. This isn't what you see at the time from the gas. This is now. This is
present
now.
day. Yes.
Oh, wow, man.
30 years later. 31 years later.
Wow.
I cleared several vehicles during the war, making sure there was no live ammunition in there, making sure no one was hiding in there, and a lot of these have been shot by our rockets and
get them, guys. Go get them.
The helicopters and from the tanks. I was also exposed to sarin gas. I received a letter from the Department of Defense that I was in an area where we received low levels of sarin gas while I was there, and it was low enough that it did not set off the alarms, but we were in it for an extended period of time.
Okay, what is all this popping up here? Depleted uranium, what is all this?
All these things that are popped up, that just popped up on the screen, are Gulf War syndrome catalysts.
Okay.
Basically, they're not sure which one of them actually caused the problems with most of the veterans.
So any one of these could be what? So they're saying that instead of just saying it's this, the gas, they're trying to, like, I see one on here, hydrogen cyanide. So you've had cyanide poisoning, you've had carbon monoxide poisoning, you've had you've had carbon dioxide poisoning.
Sulfuric dioxide.
Really? Pesticides really is on here? Like, really?
Yes, we actually had people sending us flea collars to keep the sand fleas and bugs off of us. We used DEET. We soaked a lot of our uniforms in DEET.
Yeah, and that's not good for you. And I mean, I use that in the woods. As you guys, any outdoorsmen, y'all know, the higher the DEET, the better the bugs stay away. But it burns your skin for a reason.
Remember, I was talking about driving the that track that was attacked out of Iraq. It says smoke and ash from dead body parts.
Yeah. We were talking about that. Wait, is that on here?
Yes, that's right in the very middle. It's
right in the middle.
Very middle, right under depleted uranium.
Oh, I just saw that one. Okay. Oh, wow. Yeah, in big blue letters. That's what I called earlier, the smell of the gates of hell. There's gunpowder and blood and body parts. That's horrible. What is oil well? Oil with fire smoke?
As the Iraqis were leaving Kuwait, they started blowing up the oil wells, so they were on fire.
Sulfur dioxide. I'm just trying to make sure I don't miss any of them that are interesting here. Seroflaxin. What the heck is seroflaxin? Never heard of that one before. Well, it's incredible.
Yeah, but these are some of the things that they believe, or they're still doing research on.
Mm-hmm. What about the lead-based paint?
That would be the cart paint in there somewhere.
Is it on here?
Maybe hid behind my picture or behind you. But then we have the PB pills. That's the pristramine bromide pills. Then right above that, you see unlicensed vaccine combinations. So they didn't know if they gave you the anthrax shot and the typhoid shot, how they would even interact together.
And the crazy thing is, you said you got like 6 to 10. You became a Molotov cocktail. You were a damn chemistry beaker, and they were going to see what happens. That's nuts. This is nuts, what I'm looking at. This is nuts. Hang on, let's keep going.
If you look back and you talk about the folks that were exposed to chemical warfare, at first they said nobody's exposed to it. Then it was maybe 100 people were exposed to it. Then it's 1,000, then possibly up to 10,000. But with the winds and everything else, it's fairly unlikely that the minimal exposure would cause any health-related issues. So in regards to, it almost feels a little bit like the Vietnam veterans that I feel so sorry for, the way they were treated and things that they went through. And the Agent Orange, it started out that it couldn't do anything, and now it's causing cancers and everything else. And so in that regard, I think I'm not comparing it to the Vietnam War, but I'm comparing it to Agent Orange, where as time goes on, they say that there's more and more health issues that could have been caused from the exposures over in the Gulf War, similar to Agent Orange.
I saw a lot of people had stomach problems just like me, because we deployed not long after we went in and got all those shots and everything. It may have taken a few days for the worst of it, and it's been so long, I don't remember if I'd actually started getting having stomach problems before I arrived in country. But I do know once I got there and got in the heat and the humidity, drinking, they just had cases upon cases of water set in there. We ended up drinking the water hot at times because we didn't have a way to cool it.
How common was heat stroke?
I personally didn't. I think I only saw one case. I think I only saw one case, because they were actually making us drink about 12 bottles this size a day.
They were, when you say making you, like they literally would say, "Watch."
They wouldn't stand there. They would say, "Yeah, here's your 12 bottles." And I do remember times they would have us turn up a canteen to make sure that we were drinking.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because now, like, we just brought the chemical Molotov cocktail into the searing heat and humidity, and now you went from being a beaker to a petri dish. Wow.
Much.
Jesus, Bill, I'm so sorry, my friend. I really am.
You didn't know it. Every time me and you went out fishing together, the day before we would go out, I would have to watch what I eat. And eat very little because I didn't want to get sick while we were out on the boat, and have to hang my butt off the side and take a dump.
And how you can do it down there still to this day in the South Florida heat and humidity, it blows my mind, because that's part of the reason I had to get out of there. I got tired of it. Like, y'all don't ever turn the AC off in South Florida. Let me tell you, people that don't live there, that you never shut your AC off unless you happen to get a cold front that's colder than your air conditioner. Am I right or am I wrong, Bill? You never turn it off.
You're 100% correct. I think there's maybe 1, possibly 2 weeks out of the year that you can actually shut your air conditioner off and open a window.
No, they don't get 4 seasons. They don't get winter. They get fronts, and that's it. The rest of the time, it's hot, sweaty, sticky, and hope you don't have a heart attack. So let's keep going now that we know. I'm surprised you said only one person that you know of got a heat stroke, because you're in a desert with full gear. Like, that doesn't happen. Okay, go military. I tell you what, y'all are on your stuff.
So quite a few people were having stomach problems. You would have to sometime wait in line to use the restroom.
And I would base my conclusions about the health of Persian Gulf veterans not on these self-selected healthcare programs like the registry or the CCEP, but on good, sound, scientific studies. And that's my message to you.
Okay. And my message to you is that obviously we can't depend on the Department of Defense or the CIA to encourage you to do the studies you need to do. So
that's a true enough statement right there. You just stop. You can't count on.
When you get veterans who are coming to you with serious physical problems, that you begin the studies and not wait for them.
It's frowned upon if you complain or you're all the time going to sick call. Is frowned upon very heavily. At least it was during my time of service. I don't know about the current time people in service now, but it was highly unfavorable for you if you're continually going to see a doctor. And so a lot of people would just, as we say, suck it up and drive on.
Huh. Yeah, that's the military thing right there. All right, Bill, read that.
During the Persian Gulf War, 700,000 Allied troops were given unlicensed, untested combinations of vaccines and bromide pills under direct orders of their commanding officers.
Good God. What's bromide?
That is a agent to help fight nerve agents. So it's a little white pill that they gave us. It had never been tested.
Did you take it one time, or did you take it like a vitamin?
I took it numerous times. There was one time they lined us up. That's the pill I was talking about earlier, where they lined us up, open your mouth, put it in, drink, open your mouth, let me see if it's gone, which we'll see here in a minute.
Okay. Gotcha.
There were past studies done, in fact, by the DOD, if my memory is correct, dealing with the potentially dangerous effects of pyridostigmine bromide. And he was very, very concerned about the use of that drug.
The bromide pills, we did not have to take those until we were actually in country. And we were basically told, open your mouth, put the pill in, let me see it, drink, okay.
A little bit later in the Gulf War, some folks got sick while we were there. We were given a bromide pill while we were over there. So it was supposed to help with any biological attacks.
pyridostigmine bromide, the PB, and you did what I usually do. Since I can't say it well, I just say PB. But this was to protect against sarin exposure. This is a drug that is used for degenerative nerve disease. And it's not to be used in the way that the DOD used it unless they had permission from the FDA. It becomes, in essence, because it is a drug used for another reason, a experimental drug. This experimental drug was, the FDA gave the DOD permission to use PB. They had only two requirements. One, that they warn the soldiers that it is an experimental drug, which, by the way, our soldiers were ordered to take, which astounds me. An experimental drug in which our soldiers were ordered to take. They had one other requirement besides notifying our soldiers. They were supposed to keep records.
I don't know to this day what I was exposed to. Unfortunately, they can't find any of my records from when I was over there. And what I was told is that, like I said, with the burn pit fires and stuff towards the end, I had been told that many of our medical records were actually burnt prior to returning back to Germany.
Toxicological research indicates that PB, which the Gulf veterans took to protect themselves against the immediate life-threatening effects of nerve agents, may alter the metabolism of organophosphates in ways that activate delayed chronic effects of the brain.
Okay, so that screws with your brain. You weren't supposed to get it, and it's for degenerative, I can't say that word very well, nerve disease. So if you don't have degenerative nerve disease and you take that pill, what does it do to normal people? This is nuts, dude.
They're still trying to figure that out, DJ.
This is nuts.
People like me, I suffer from fibromyalgia now and chronic fatigue syndrome.
That's crazy, dude. Crazy. This is like a freaking movie, like a sci-fi movie, but it's real life. Let's keep going, because I mean, we're looking at the brain right there. So basically what we're looking at, I guess, is what the brain is supposed to be more of this red and green and yellow and less of the blue.
I keep playing. It should mention.
Okay, let's see. I'm curious, because now y'all take a mental note of this. The red to green is over to the side, and it's all blue back over here. So.
Moreover, exposure to combinations of these chemicals have shown in animal studies to be far more likely to cause morbidity and mortality than any of the chemicals acting alone.
You have had a very clear criticism of not just the VA, but the DOD and the President's Advisory Commission on Gulf War Illnesses. I don't think you have many friends left in that community, and I'm concerned about it.
We got that right, Vash.
I hope y'all got that. I hope y'all got that.
Vash says, this is your brain. This is your brain on government.
Yeah. Any questions?
When they finally blew up the bunker, no one had let us know. And when they blew up the bunker with the Iraqi ammunition in it, we had no idea, and we scattered for our flak jackets and our helmets. It literally sounded like an atomic bomb going off, and it was within a mile of us, a couple kilometers from us, and that we found out, shortly after that they had finally blew up the ammunition bunker.
And one of my friends was killed in action that day before anyone back here even knew there was a ground war going. 2 weeks prior, we were already doing a little bit of ground war, doing excursions, to draw them in on us. Jimmy was actually hit in the chest with an anti-tank round, pretty much from his waist up, midway, about right here up, was gone.
And nothing really was thought about it until later on in his life. When Steve started having backache and back problems, he had a couple of back operations. He came home from work. He literally said, "I got a stinking headache." I turned around and he was flat on the floor.
I just am speaking for all spouses all over the country of our frustrations, watching our husbands go to war, fight for their country, willing to die for a country. And still today, if my husband was healthy and if it was laid before him that he would come home in this condition, I can guarantee my husband would still go to war. Knowing this of how brave my husband is and that he fought for his country, and so many other military wives are standing behind their husbands going through the same situation that I am with children, we are just stressed out. We are just crying out for the government to do something for these brave men.
I want to stop and say something right there. You know, it's one thing to go to service as a young man, 18, 19 years old. You don't have spit. You're fresh out of high school. You don't know what you're going to do. You just got your balls in your hand and you're going to go be a man. Now, it becomes something different when life goes on. You acquire yourself a wife and children, and you have to leave them children and that wife to go do your duty. Now, your wife and your kids have to go that whole time without you, which is bad enough. For you to come home for the short amount or whatever, I would say short because nothing's ever long enough when it comes to that, and then turn around and lose you all over again for what you went that they lost you for in the first place. That's horrible. That is horrible. You know, that's like that whole wife thing was like, oh, wait a minute.
One of the concerns right now are people like me passing this on to their children.
Right. That's right.
Through the genes and stuff. We've been asking the Department of Veterans Affairs and the DOD to do research on this. And as far as I know, to this day, they still have not done it.
Can they do DNA? What can they do for that? Can they do like DNA testing or?
Yes, they can do some testing. There's actually wives complain about something called burning semen syndrome, where they would actually be allergic to their husband's sperm.
Okay. Wow. Huh. I've heard of the burn coming back from war a different way.
Yeah.
But wow, Bill, never that way. You just changed my life, dude. You just changed. Hang on, I gotta holler at my wife real quick. The dog's yelling at me. Doggy gotta go out. She's barking at daddy. She's like, Dad, pay attention to me. But that's nuts, dude. All right, we got to keep going. But I had to stop, man. So for all those military wives, children, and families, man, God bless y'all, because it's hard. It's definitely got to be hard.
On numerous occasions, technicians trained to operate sophisticated detection equipment confirmed the presence of nerve and blister agents near U.S. troop positions in Iraq, Kuwait, and Saudi Arabia. Individual soldiers reported Scud attacks followed by toxic mist and powdery fallout. They reported dead animals in the desert and a notable lack of insects or other carrion scavengers on the carcasses. After the fighting stopped, U.S. forces detonated Iraq chemical munitions stored in bunkers at Camisea. To this day, many Gulf War veterans report the symptoms: memory loss, fatigue, muscle and joint pain that can characterize a neurotoxic exposure. Routinely, all these reports have been dismissed, discounted, discredited, or denied. Some were dismissed as false positive readings. Others were discounted as detections below life-threatening levels. Still others were discredited as attributable only to operator error. Based on these denials, commanders sounded the all clear for U.S. troops to proceed unprotected against an invisible enemy. As a result, the number of U.S. Gulf War veterans presumed to have been exposed to some level of chemical warfare agents has climbed from 0 to 400 to 1,100 to 5,000 to 15,000 to more than 20,000.
We confirmed the presence of a blister agent, commonly referred to as mustard or HD, traces of phosgene, a non-persistent choking agent, and traces of phosgene oxime, a non-persistent blistering agent.
So that's the blisters or the rashes that we've seen relative to your friends.
Correct.
Wow.
While on the site, I observed a British soldier come in contact with the liquid while working to take a sample collection for transport out of the area. I personally observed the liquid effects on his wrist and concluded that he was exposed to a blistering agent based on the reaction of the liquid to skin contact. The soldier was decontaminated and transported to a hospital for medical treatment. To date, I have no information concerning the health condition of that soldier that was contaminated.
And what is medical treatment, Bill? What is standard procedure treatment for that you're aware of for someone, or you don't know?
They would try to decontaminate them. They would give them different types of, I guess, injections or shots to counteract the effects. Luckily, I didn't have to go that far, into the hospital.
Okay. So for all you know, what they're giving you to help you could have done you in because you don't know what they're giving you.
Correct, which would have been the premium bromide, the atropine injections, different stuff like that. Yes.
That's crazy.
The tapes were to be further analyzed along with the samples that were removed from the area by personnel in desert uniforms. I had no idea who these personnel were or what organization they represented. I was later given a Be Prepared mission to provide support to the British in their efforts to move.
MOD. The closest UK force was some 130K. Wow. So they weren't even like in your time zone.
No, they were 130 kilometers from Kashmir.
Move the container out of the area for destruction.
DOD in 1995 did a study. And you know what their study concluded? Their study concluded that pyridostigmine bromide combined with DEET and combined with permethrin has a synergistic effect, much more than the additive effect. When you combine the three, it has a significant effect on lethality. I found it very interesting that in the Presidential Advisory Committee final report, the word significant was changed and it became a slight. The word significant went to slight. I found it interesting in reading New York Times articles that when the DOD itself had done the right research, New York Times, Wednesday, May 14th.
When they've done the right research.
Headline,
I like how he said that. When they've done the right research. Okay, here's the brain again. But look, there's a little bit, let's see if we can figure out. There's more green and red on the left side, at least on my monitor, on the left side. And if you look on the right side where it was all blue, on the bottom you have traces of green, some gray. So there is a difference between this photo and the first blue. See, I knew we should have paid attention to that one. See what I'm saying? There's a difference, people. But, hey, Bill, you know how you said they changed the terminology?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, yeah, this was back in the 90s, all right? And people are dumbfounded that they're currently changing the definition of the word recession because they don't want to be in one. So, yeah.
Leaks memory loss to nerve gas as in Gulf.
That's nuts.
The DOD does the research. The guy who does the research says, I think we've made an important finding. And the DOD attempts to minimize what their own research has done. On and on and go. We have had testimony from witnesses here who have told us they were Dr. Tucker. Remember Dr. Tucker? Fired because he had the courage to go outside of the parameters established by the PAC. Dr. Myra Shayovitz, who's a physician who formerly worked at the VA hospital in Northampton, Massachusetts, believed that chemicals played a role. She developed a protocol for treatment, did not get her research funded. Dr. Claudia Miller, who you have had before this committee, also was in line to receive funding to look at chemicals, did not get funded. Dr. James Morse, after concluding that PB and DEET, when combined, produced toxic effects on cockroaches, was terminated from his employment with the Department of Agriculture. On and on and on it go. In conclusion,
Yeah, I could tell you on that cockroach one, the cockroach wins. I don't care what you give it. You could give it sarin gas, you could give it nuclear radiation, cockroach wins.
Conclusions arise that seem to go beyond the paradigm established by the DOD and the VA. Those researchers get the short shrift. I agree with you, Mr. Chairman.
And what does that sound like to you guys in today's world? What do we just go through? And don't say the word, but you guys understand what we went through the last couple of years, right? And you heard what he's saying. Like, this person has solid research, but they're not getting funded. This person has solid research. They got shoved under the rug. You know what I'm saying, Bill? I mean, this is back in the 90s, and here we are in 2022. And the same foolishness is going on back then and now. So wake up, America. That's a good thing, like, to pay attention to.
I think the time is now to say thank you very much, DOD and VA. You've had your opportunity. You've had the last 5 years. You haven't done it.
Pretty much all my major joints ache all the time. I have to go in and get injections in my lower back and hips every 6 months, just so I can move around. Without those, I get where I can hardly move and end up using the cane.
You're hurting now physically, and that's clear. And we very much appreciate your bravery and willingness to come here today. Do you know of people with whom you associated, people in your area during the war who are suffering illnesses that might be attributed to the conflict?
I know a few in my area.
Yes, sir. He knows a few in our area.
And similar problems to yours, or just other kinds of?
Different kind of problem. Maybe rashes.
All different problems, mainly rashes.
Now, do you know what's his situation by any chance?
No, overall I don't. But
because that's serious, man. That's like heartbreaking.
I do believe by the time this video was edited and everything, I believe he has passed away.
Oh man. Well, at least you got to go home and be, back to normal. God bless you, my friend. God bless you.
Joint pains. Those type of problems.
The driver and I jumped from the vehicle, giving the signals for chemicals. I approached the MP controlling traffic to ask why he wasn't in MOP level 4. He told.
What does that mean, MOP level 4?
That is the highest level of chemical protection that you can do.
Okay, so that's full on white suit, gas mask,
gas mask, gloves, everything.
Okay.
Told me the alarm was false. I was angry and removed my mask. I now feel that was a mistake.
Wait, what did he say? He was angry and he removed his mask. Why would you, even if I'm angry, why would you remove your mask?
Well, they told him it was, if you go back, I believe, you're stopping the video in key points, I believe.
Okay, let me go back.
Don't worry about backing it up. I believe the MPs told him that they could remove it.
He told me the alarm was false. I was angry and removed my mask. I now feel that was a mistake.
Okay. Yeah.
We had to burn all of our trash in refuge, and we would basically take it out into the desert, dig a hole, put it all in the hole, light it on fire, and we would have to sit there and man it until the fire went out, make sure everything was completely burned, and then cover it up. The other type of burn pit that we used was we had latrine duty, which basically you had to pull the cans out from underneath the latrines where people went to the bathroom, and you would use a mixture of MoGas and diesel fuel.
You had actual poop cans? You didn't just dig a hole in the ground?
We actually had poop cans, 55-gallon drums cut in half.
Hey, who was the guy that had to clean the poop bucket? Was it? Come on, tell me it was like the peon little nobody.
Well, at the time, I was a peon little nobody. So.
Oh no, Bill! No, you cleaned the poop bucket. No,
oh
Bill.
Yeah, many times.
And you would light this on fire, and you would have to stand there and burn it. You would be breathing these fumes in, and depending on which way the wind was blowing that day, a lot of times it blew back into the encampment. But you would be breathing this horrible. And you have to sit there and stir it the entire time.
You have to stir it? What the hell are you doing?
You burned it down to
you making shit stew, or what do you do?
Basically, left. You would take it a little bit further out, dig a hole, and bury the ashes in the hole. So you were breathing the ash, the fumes.
Wait, you burned it in the barrel, then you took the ashes of the barrel to somewhere else, dug a hole, and buried the ashes. Seriously?
Yep.
For poop?
For poop.
Why?
Being poop.
Why?
You had to do something with it.
Okay.
Everything.
Towards the end, we were sitting in the oil well filled fires for numerous days. One of the things our unit was tasked for was providing security for the peace talks at the end of the ground war, which was heavy smoke, heavy breathing. So many people have difficulties breathing at that time. After returning from the Gulf War, several of us did get sick. I was one of them that within a few days of returning, I was sent to the hospital where I was there for a week with significant breathing issues, almost severe cold virus type sickness with vomiting, diarrhea, and so I was there for about a week and was better afterwards and sent back to my unit.
I learned just in the last 2 weeks, in fact, that the Centers for Disease Control did not provide the Senate Banking Committee with a complete list of all the potential pathogens that were supplied to Iraq during the 1980s. They revealed this to a researcher, Dr. Leonard Cole at Rutgers, in 1995. The CDC apparently sent 80 plus samples.
You're suggesting that
DCI Admiral Studman directed the CIA performing a comprehensive review of all relevant intelligence information. Our study concluded no chemical weapon or biological agents were used by the Iraqis, and facilities now known to contain biological weapon agents were not bombed. Under what basis could he have made that statement? What data would he have had? Would the director of the CIA have had to have made such a sweeping statement, in your judgment?
He would have had no basis whatsoever to make that statement on the basis of the information that I had in my possession and on the basis of the information that has subsequently been declassified up to this point and provided to the public.
What would he have pointed to? I mean, if he were in the room now, what would he have said was the basis for it, in your judgment?
I really can't speak to that, Mr. Chairman. I mean, to me, this is a very, very obvious problem, a very obvious circumstance. The intelligence information and the information coming from the people in the theater that we heard just earlier today was quite clear. The munitions were present. They were forward deployed to the lowest unit level. They were in Kuwait as well as Iraq. Contrary to what the CIA maintains to this day, these chemical weapons were in Kuwait. The evidence is overwhelming that they were in Kuwait.
So here's a question for you, Bill. And I'm going to ask the audience in the chat, who knows better what was on the ground, the soldier or the idiot in Washington? That's just my honest question on that whole thing he just talked about right there. Is you're going to tell the man on the ground what was there and what wasn't there from Washington, D.C.
Yep.
This whole thing just keeps like, again, it's like a bad movie. But it's great. I mean, I don't mean that. Whoever put it together did a bang-up job. Thumbs up.
Everyone was puzzled, but as time passed, still with no diagnosis and Steve getting worse, I started getting very frustrated with the MOD more than anyone. The hospital had exhausted all their tests that they could do. They got the biopsies of these lesions on Steve's brain, but they couldn't diagnose and they couldn't tell us what they were. They said they've not seen them before.
Read that real quick, Bill.
In October 2005, basically the British Department of Defense welcomed the decision by the Pensions Appeal Tribunal that Gulf War syndrome does not exist.
So it's not just our country.
No. The UK as well.
That's crazy. Because that's the one thing I was going to ask you towards the end of this, is because this was a multinational operation that happened. This wasn't just the United States involved in it. So how is everybody else affected and how are they dealing with it? And my biggest question is, this stuff has been around. Like, we're not stupid, and nobody watching, I never think anybody's ever stupid. These gases have been around. They damn well know they exist. They've experimented with them and on them themselves. And you're going to tell me that they can't figure out what's wrong with you guys based upon research they already have. Now, you can tell me they don't have it, boys and girls. That's fine. We'll play the conspiracy theory. I'm going to tell you they have it because that's just the government. So you're going to tell me you got to play the doctor game until you die when they already know in their lab that they already created and made this and tested it on. This is nuts, Bill. This is really nuts.
They knew they weren't cancer. I cried out for help with the MOD, but I just felt like they were making excuses.
So this is more about them basically denying everything.
Correct.
That's crazy. And this is the UK side of it.
At least now the Department of Veterans Affairs is admitting there's numerous types of cancers. They just came out with a new list adding 9 or more cancers that I'm sorry I haven't gotten it on my website yet, but if you go through and look at some of the posts that are there, the news section, you can find some of the cancers if you're a Desert Storm veteran that now the VA is admitting, yes, this is some of the cancers that were caused by exposures during Desert Storm.
And as a question is this, the cancer, do any of the cancers or new cancers particularly isolate to the the Gulf War veteran?
Yes, but they're also folding it over into the OIF additionally.
Okay. So, I mean, it's not really hard to figure out where those cancers came from and who has them, because people that weren't in the Gulf War obviously wouldn't have that type of cancer.
They're calling them presumptives. They're assuming, yeah, you served in the Gulf War. If you got one of these cancers, then yes, it possibly happened.
Yeah.
And we're going to let you file a complaint saying as such.
File a complaint. Okay. Yeah. I'm telling you, man. This guy breaks my heart.
Also from one of the Marines that were operating with Gunny Sergeant Graff. I'm sorry.
He is officer.
He's a what?
He's
an ordnance officer.
He was with
He was with Gunny Sergeant Graff.
and 7 members of his unit.
Several members from 7 members of his unit was sent to Portsmouth.
Is she reading his lit? Like, I don't mean to be rude, but I can barely understand like every other word. How is she understanding it? Does anybody know?
Well, she just got used to how he speaks.
Because you notice he'll look at her when she doesn't understand him. Like if he said the word 7 and she didn't get that, he turned and he looked here. I'll go back. He looks directly at her when she doesn't
Gunny
understand.
Sergeant Graff. Several members from
See
Seven
how she's looking at
members.
his face? I wonder if she's kind of lip reading at the same time.
Yeah, more than likely.
Because God, man, I want to hear everything this man has to say, but I can't make it out. So God bless her and God bless him.
Members of his unit was sent to Portsmouth. Portsmouth Naval Hospital to be observed after the war. Only 2 of them are now living.
Wow.
Autoimmune issues.
These lesions, it were just multiplying.
Chronic fatigue,
Multiple joint issues,
fibromyalgia,
Bleed on the brain.
muscle issues,
gastrointestinal reflux disease,
diarrhea,
Found a tumor.
my thyroid is shot,
vomiting,
Projectile vomiting.
Amyotrophic lateral sclerosis,
migraine headaches.
respiratory issues,
Couldn't stand the light.
have rheumatoid arthritis.
But I've got COPD as well. I've never smoked a cigarette in my life.
I've even been on a walker at times.
We all got back, and of course, we didn't know about Gulf War illness or Gulf War sickness at the time. So as soon as we got back, like I said, several of us in the hospital. I've stayed in touch with a few people from my unit to this day. Actually, got in touch with them probably 15 years after the ground war. And as we were talking, they have the exact same issues that I do.
I know very few people that are rated for Gulf War illness or syndrome, but I know several people that have all the presumptives, but yet they rate them for something else.
It strikes me, and this is my primary point, it strikes me that the VA's approach is to, as to the cause of Gulf War illnesses, this research program is designed to find out what it isn't, not what the problem is.
The problem is when you see a doctor, they don't want to send you out of there and say, hey, we can't figure this out.
Yeah.
So we're going to say that it's lupus. We're going to say that it's, you got osteoporosis. They're going to give you a diagnosis.
Yep.
Well, once you get a diagnosis, you're not eligible or it's not compensatable to be an undiagnosed Gulf War illness.
Since September of 1996, 1995, we redesigned the registry, and there's a specific question at the end of the registry examination after the physician has written the symptoms and the diagnosis, and it asks the physician to specifically designate whether they feel the patient has an unexplained illness, yes or no.
I can say that I am being compensated at 100% rate. So if I was totally disabled, but it's primarily from PTSD and, IBS and a couple other small things. So, and, when I was no longer able to work, for example, I applied for migraines for consistent headaches and things as related to the Gulf War illness. Well, those were denied. But when I was no longer able to work from all these things, they gave me what was called 100% individual unemployability. So I'm getting paid if I was 100% disabled, but it's really not from Gulf War illness other than the PTSD.
Now, when he says that, Bill, because I know this is up your alley, and we've talked benefits in the past, because I'm on benefits, you're on benefits. When he just said that right there, so what is he saying? Is he's getting Social Security disability, or is he getting VA disability?
You can get both. For those that don't know, if you get compensation and pension from the VA, Social Security now has to use the doctor's findings from the VA, since they're both governmental doctors. You don't have to go and see Social Security doctors because it's already been diagnosed by the VA doctors.
Okay. But what in his case here, is he talking about he's receiving benefits from the VA at this point, or is he receiving?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Because again, there's a lot of benefits, and being disabled has a lot of levels to it. For those of you that don't know, like he said, permanently disabled, unable to work. There's a lot of categories that you can fall into, not get any money, not get any insurance, or get insurance to get money. So that's why I just wanted to ask that.
But you also notice that he mentioned that he's not being rated for Gulf War illness. He's being rated for all these other things, PTSD,
right,
and whatnot. Like my rating, they don't say Gulf War illness. They rated me. Even the VA is funny on how they rate stuff. I think all my stuff combined rates over 300, but they gave me a rating on my thyroid, which affects many different areas of your body. They rated me at 100% on my thyroid. They rated me for irritable bowel syndrome. They rated me for chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia.
Basically, they're taking the flu for lack. I mean, not to put this in small scale, but they're taking the flu. So instead of saying, "Bill, you have the flu," they're saying, "Bill, you have a headache. Bill, you have a runny nose. Bill, you have watery eyes." Instead of just saying, "You have the flu."
Exactly.
That's stupid. That's stupid. That really makes no sense. But I guess then they would have to, if they summed it up to Gulf War syndrome or any type of name for it, they would then have to admit that it exists.
Exactly.
Which I don't know why 20 years later, what is when does stuff come unclassified after 20 years, isn't it, or something like that?
Well, they actually last year, the year before, were saying, if you're sick from Desert Storm, you have until this date. After this date, we're no longer going to let you put in for claims.
Oh, so there's a time.
And then people complained about it, and they moved it out. Because one of the things they're finding about the Desert Storm era veteran, they don't trust the VA. A lot of these guys are continuing to work even though they're sick, so they don't have to see a VA doctor, because a lot of the VA doctors were telling people it's all in your head, which if it hadn't already been said, you will see this in the video.
Yeah. Well, of course, it's like anything else military related. They're being told what to tell you. And that's sad when you should be doing your damn homework on things you are. Like I said, it's already locked away in a bunker somewhere. They know what the hell's going on.
It's coming out more predominantly now. I don't know if it's due to aging. I don't know if it's due to the exposures we have. But out of my friends here in South Florida, probably over half of them that were in Desert Storm have had some type of cancer.
Of course, the Veterans Administration doesn't necessarily agree with many of the diagnoses.
By the Department of Veteran Affairs standards, I am 100% total and permanent disabled.
When I spoke to vets in the state of Vermont, and in testimony that we have heard before this committee, we have heard from women who believe that they have been made ill with symptoms not dissimilar from their husbands as a result of sexual contact or whatever.
Wait. Women, well, we already know about what you're talking about the burning, you know what, and we're not talking about pee. But what he just said is women become. Were there other illnesses due to?
Yes, there's stuff that, you know, the women are claiming to have some of the same symptoms as their husbands. The kids have some of the same symptoms as their husbands. My daughter, for example, has an issue with her stomach. She has asthma and other breathing problems.
That I can understand because that's hereditary. It's passed on. But like
prior to me being deployed, I didn't have any of those problems.
Well, what he's saying is make it sound like an STD. If that's that's like the nicest way I can put it on YouTube. He makes it sound like an STD, like while you're engaging in intercourse that the wife gets something. I mean, because if you have a child, again, like we said, it's in your DNA coding. You pass it on. So if it's in you, then the chances are, like me with blindness, there's a chance. I always prayed to God that my kids didn't come out blind. Thank God they didn't. My disability is not hereditary. It was something caused while I was in the womb. So with your spouse, that's where I'm like, again, it sounds like he makes it sound like an STD. If that's like, again,
much, but if you think about it, husband and wives swap bodily fluids of different kinds. So.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. And if you got some of that fire stuff in the wrong place, I could see. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you for clearing that up, Bill, in a nice way.
Yeah.
There's a case in Vermont of a woman who was jogging, I guess, 5 miles a day, and after a while became so ill she could barely walk without help. Wow. Is that anecdotal? Is that, just something that happens to people? Or have you, in your research, developed any patterns to suggest that women, or maybe even kids, we heard some testimony, you recall, from a woman whose kids were ill as well. Do you have any conclusions on that?
In this study, we did not do any original research. We looked at the research that has already been published, and in context of the conclusion that have been reached, in context of some other issues that were relevant. We did not collect original information from veterans.
Based on your review of the research, what should I tell some women in the state of Vermont who believe that they have been made ill? Is there research to suggest that that is in fact the case, or that there is no correlation?
It's quite plausible. They were exposed to wide, variety of exposure agents. We do not understand the precise mechanisms, and it's quite possible that their symptoms might be due to those exposure.
You think?
That's a question that remains unanswered, like many.
One of the other things veterans are looking at also and have been requesting is to look at their children. Like I know I have a friend that lives in Alabama. His daughter has all kinds of issues that are similar to what her father had. And like me, my daughter has a bad problem with anxiety and stomach issues. And she's had this since she was a baby. So the veterans are asking, please look at our kids. Make sure there's nothing wrong with them.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have a reason to cover the truth.
They have a reason to cover the truth.
It's because they have not shown in the past to memories of World War II.
They have
done so in the past.
They have done so in the past with World War II.
Memories.
So look at
Memories.
search letter. BE.
He's trying to say Vietnamese.
He's trying to say what?
Vietnam or Vietnamese.
Oh, okay. See, dude, you're on point, bro. I'm still trying to figure it out. I love this guy, but I mean, God, dude, that war did that to him.
Veterans.
And
also with Agent Orange.
What is that? Because that's not the first time that's come up in this video. What is Agent Orange or Asian? I don't know what they're saying.
He's saying Agent Orange. It's a chemical that was used during the Vietnam era to burn trees and shrubberies and try to clear the enemy out.
Napalm, similar to that.
Yes.
Yeah. I remember my cousin, that word napalm, when he was in the Marine Corps. The songs that they would sing that included that sweat word in it sticks in my head 20 years later after he's been out of the military. Napalm is a nasty thing if y'all don't know what it is. But what is it called? Agent Orange or what is it?
Agent Orange, like field agent.
Yep.
Agent Orange.
Okay. All right.
That's one of the big things of the Vietnam era.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, the planes used to drop it by the gallons and just flood. They drop it like a blanket over the jungle terrain. I mean, you guys have seen it in movies. I'm sure you have. And then if they light it up, they call it a different thing. Because you can light you once you set it ablaze, it don't stop burning.
The
main reason it boils down to money. They don't want to be held responsible for all the people who are now sick. And for the ones that have already died.
Go ahead and read that for us, Sir Bill.
In 1995, Major Randy Herbert was given 3 years to live from the day he was diagnosed with Lou Gehrig's disease. That's the gentleman that's been speaking.
Okay, so they've diagnosed him with Lou Gehrig's disease.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not to say, because like we've learned tonight, that isn't the symptom of the main cause. Right?
Yeah.
All right. See, I just want to make sure we're all on the same playing cards here, because I've learned a whole lot tonight. And that man is amazing. God bless that man's soul. And when was that video? How many years was that?
I believe that was late 90s, early 2000s.
So he superseded the expectations of the Yahoo doctors.
Well, if you notice, in 1995, he was given 3 years to live. So he died by 1998.
Okay. Well, is that confirmed that he died in the 3-year window?
I believe at the end, there's something that says so.
Okay. Okay. Because I'd be really curious to know if he beat the doctor's expectations, because a lot of people do that. Don't ever listen to the doctor. They tell you got 6 months, tell them, screw you, I got 6 years. 6 decades.
He made it to 2017.
What's that?
That was him in 2017, I do believe.
Wow. So he definitely superseded the expectations.
Yep.
That I indicated, there are at least 2 studies which now indicate, Dr. Haley being one, that there may be actual neurological damage. All right. Now that is something that is pretty definitive, right? If somebody has neurological damage, why aren't we testing now 10,000 people to see if there's neurological damage and if it correlates to what we call Persian Gulf illness?
The alarm on the mass spectrometer went off with a full reading of sulfur mustard. We saw the weapons that were sitting there. They were 155 rounds with bands around them. They also had skull and crossbones tapes with red and yellow tape around them.
What does 155 round mean?
Just imagine a shell that's about as long as your leg, probably big around, if not a little bit bigger than your thigh.
For a tank round, basically?
Artillery round.
Holy crap. And then what was he saying that they had them all dressed up?
Oh, they had like danger warnings and all kind of stuff around them.
Oh, wow.
They were from the United States. A little bit farther along in the same ammunition storage area, my mass spectrometer alarm went off.
You say they were from the United States?
Yes, sir.
The Iraqi weapons?
Yes, sir.
But they were U.S.?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So the Iraqis had U.S. weapons.
Sounds very familiar, just like Afghanistan.
Sounds like I'm still waiting on my return on that, because as a taxpayer, that's my property, not anybody else's. So That
Well, you
billions
talk
of
to the
dollars.
Taliban about that one.
Yeah, well, somebody better send me a damn refund, because that's a hell of a lot of money. My taxes that they just gave away.
Throughout the whole ammunition storage area, there was weapons.
Oh, look at that.
They're from United States, Jordan, and Holland.
Exposures to chemicals and other agents in our atmosphere, on our grounds, the chemicals that we're putting within our environment. These have caused, in my opinion, his situation, his symptoms to move more rapidly.
But yes, I believe the DOD themselves, they're not telling us the whole truth.
I have several friends that have fought cancer and either won or lost.
He passed away in December 2010 at the age of only 51.
Wow.
He'd been ill for a couple of years, but no one could tell us what was wrong. Therefore, no one could treat him.
Go ahead and read that, Sir Bill.
Widow Karen Lowe is now fighting her own battle against colon cancer.
That's his wife, the lady reading or speaking.
Yes.
And then, so they're going to try to say, or not, I don't want to say that the wrong way, but they're going to try to, what we were talking about, the husband and wife, that the husband transferred something to her. Wow.
Correct.
That's nuts.
My personal belief is, since there's no family issues with any of this, is that it's all because of the things that I've went through the Gulf War.
If some people feel that it's going to take so long that no one's going to care in the end, and they can just outlast the various investigations, they're just wrong. They're just wrong.
All right, Brian, what is it? Leeson?
Brain lesions, paralysis, vomiting, diarrhea, seizures, light sensitivity, death. I suffer from the diarrhea and light sensitivity.
And these are Gulf War side effects, or
yes.
Wow. And it's crazy that if you actually look what's on your screen, boys and girls, and look at any one of the pills in your pharmaceutical counter right now, look at your recommended side effects. And I want you to check out how many of these exist on the pills that you're currently taking. Just food for thought, everybody. Just food for thought. But that's crazy, dude. And that's only what they know, right?
Yes.
That's only what they've confirmed. There could still be more.
Correct. There's still research.
Wow. Oh, what did I say, Bill? I missed it.
He had 14 strokes at 50 years old, and he's still living.
God bless him.
Bone marrow transplant in 2021. One of my close friends up in New York, he had to have a complete bone marrow transplant.
That's nuts. Vaccines. Holy
Hours
God.
later, a heart attack.
Wow.
And these are young, healthy people.
Wow. And look at the picture. I mean, vaccines. Wow. So they were given vaccines and hours. That's what we were talking about, man. That Molotov cocktail. Vaccines resulting in brain lesions and brain lesions. My Now, Bill, I got to ask you this question. Had you known any of this, like somebody had, the lady that was speaking earlier had mentioned that if her husband would have been aware of this, he probably still would have went and done it anyway. Here you are 20 years later. What would you say? If you knew any of this, would you still have served, fought, and done what you done?
If it was defending for my country, I'd be right back there today.
So you would do the whole thing all over again?
I would do it all over again.
Okay. Okay. 39 countries. Now, are all 39 countries denying it the same exact way?
The only two that you're hearing mostly from are the UK and the US.
Right, which were the biggest hands in the playing field.
Correct.
But do you hear it from any other country, or are they covering it the
I've
way?
heard from one or two other countries of people reaching out to my website.
That's nuts. Only 341 Allied troops will die. That's what you said during the war. That is a hell of a strategic war. Thousands more have died or still suffering from Gulf War syndrome. Hey, that was amazing. That, boys and girls, I know we've been on this live stream, and I haven't talked to the chat, and I don't even know if I have a chat at this point. Hold on, let me see how I'm going to do this. I'm going to flip back to this guy. Then I can get out of here and come see Bill again. Because, again, I have been on a different screen for like the last... Dude, my brain hurts, Bill. My brain hurts. Let me bring you back up here.
Well,
guys in the chat, I love you to death, man. I'm sorry if I neglected you at all tonight. It was never my intention. John has been putting on, I mean, you guys have put in great comments in here. Basically, when crossing friendly lines, point your weapon in the other way. If the weapon's pointed toward you, they are fair game. I'm telling you, you could even send me into battle and just point me in the right direction. Thank you all for your service. Brain on government. This is your brain. This is your brain on government. And yep, lots of government on the left side. Laugh out loud. Yeah, well, back then I don't know too much of left and right and how that worked like it does today. But again, you're talking about people, they know what the hell is going on. All right. I always say our country, as great as it is, are the smartest dumb people on the planet. That's my honest belief in it, because there's so much education and information, but nobody wants to give it up. They're afraid that if you are smarter than them, you will take it from them. That's not the way to be.
Yeah. Something I'd like to point out to everybody, and again, this is nothing against the OEF, OIF guys. A lot of these multi-million-dollar nonprofits that you see the advertisements for on TV, they're only for 9/11 forward. So all the pre-9/11, the Grenadas, the Desert Storms, the Vietnam era, a lot of these guys are being forgotten about. That's why we named the show tonight what we did, because we're all being swept under the carpet. They're just waiting around for us to die, so they don't have to worry about it anymore.
They don't have to deal with you.
As you see, there were only 341, I think was the actual number that was put up there, died during that war. So why worry about it? Why make a big deal about it?
They wanted to get the W with as little casualties as possible so they could look good. You know,
but if you look at the Afghan war and all that, there's thousands of people died during that war. But Desert Storm, there wasn't. But there's a whole lot of us sick. And that's one of the main reasons I created VetInfo. That's one of the main reasons I sat on the Department of Veterans Affairs Research Advisory Committee. Even to this day, I just went this past week, and I got to go next week to Sarasota, to Ross Kemp. They're doing research on Gulf War illness, where they're thinking that some of the chemicals are staying in the fat cells and thus causing inflammation. Mm-hmm. So any veteran that would like to go and be part of research, reach out to me. Again, the email address is info@vetinfo.org. We have lung cancer screening going on right now. I'm involved with the LPOP, Vision 8 LPOP, which covers again, Georgia, part of Georgia, Florida, Puerto Rico, and the Virgin Islands, I believe it is. So if you have any questions or you have veterans friends that need help, please reach out to Vet Info. We'll do what we can. We basically have been funding this out of our own pockets for the past 3 years. We just did a big fundraiser, and it was more about having a good time with the veterans than it was about raising funds. We got enough to just basically fund the operation for the remainder of the year. We put in for some big grants, and hopefully those will come through, and we can continue to do what we do with the veterans. Since we're getting ready to come into the holiday season, what we've done the past 3 years is we print up about 1,000 holiday or Christmas cards. We take them out to the local school kids and churches, have them fill them out. Then we get donations and money, and we go and purchase T-shirts, underwear, socks, personal care items. Last year, Bass Pro even donated hats and T-shirts for us to give to the veterans that live in the CLC, which is the Community Living Center, as most of us call it, the retirement home of the VA hospitals. Most of them, their families are gone. Nobody comes to see them anymore. And just the simplest little thing makes their day. They're so happy just to get a card from somebody. So
that's one way y'all can make a difference in your community right there, is get a hold of your VA hospital and go make a friend. Stop by once a week.
Well, right now, due to COVID, a lot of the VAs are not letting visitors in. So what we do is, I'm a veteran, so I can actually get in there. We have to take a lot of this stuff 2 weeks to a month prior. They got to quarantine it, and then they give it to the veterans within the hospital.
Oh, okay. Well, as time goes on, guys, food for thought. We're not always going to be in this situation, God willing. And like you said, the littlest thing makes a huge impact. Imagine if somebody came in. I mean, Bill, you're in the hospital. All you got is the box on the TV to keep you company. And the next thing you know, here comes, hey, I'm DJ Infantry. I'm going to be your new buddy. I'm going to come here every week. And I'm going to sit right here. We can watch your TV. What do you like to eat? What do you like to drink? What can I sneak you that these people won't let you have? You see what I'm saying? You could really make a difference by making a friend, You
definitely can.
Next thing you know, that dude's your family. And that's something you never forget, Mr. Bill, my brain hurts from all of this information and just seeing how disgusting things are. Like, it just gets worse and worse and worse. But I hope for you guys that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. I really do. And I hope they get their butts in gear. And like I said, I think if you leave this country and you go fight for this country, you deserve so much more. And that goes for everybody that fought. We talked about the Vietnam vets. Them dudes just straight out, the war they went through. I mean, I still look back at that war as food for thought for future prepping and things, because little men in a jungle took out an army with sticks and freaking ropes. And it's just amazing what your mind can do. Look at the Gulf War. Like you said, the Desert Storm, 341 casualties in a war. That's a well strategically planned war. Just like Vietnam, the Vietnamese, they were well strategically hiding and trapping and just put us in a hurt locker. But you live and you learn, and what this government needs to do is, it's been 20 years. You learn. You need to learn. You need to release the information you knew 20 years ago.
Right. Well, for us, it's actually, I think this year was the 31st anniversary.
Even worse, 31 years. Jesus, Lord in heaven. Wow, man. Like, if you would be in my shoes if there was a way I could break down how my disability happened too. You would just be like, wow. Like, I'm dumbfounded. I don't know what to say. But I hope that everybody watching, if anybody's even still here, like this, learns something from it, helps and supports the vets and the vet organizations that are really making a difference, like Vet Info.
It's to me, it's actually the mom and pops such as Vet Info, Die for Vets, Veteran Sailing, that are organizations down here in South Florida. I actually had the director of Vision 8 suicide prevention announce at a City of Doral event that due to intervention by Vet Info, because every single event that Vet Info does, we preach suicide prevention. We give away gun locks. We give away koozies, stuff that all relate back to Vet Info. I just did an event at Southern Command about 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. I gave away almost 150 gun locks at that event. Then I did another event about a week ago, and actually a week ago today, and I gave away about 45 locks, gun locks at that event. So we're looking into the future. We're doing, I believe, October 8th. If you check our calendar, I'm trying to get this stuff updated on there at the Vet Info website. October 8th, we're doing an event at the Tampa Bass Pro Shops for veterans. You'll have to sign up for it if you are a veteran, and that would be done through the Vet Center, and an Eventbrite ticket will be issued. We're doing something on the 28th of September or October with the Miami-Dade County. I believe the end of September, we're also looking at doing a suicide prevention walk with Miami-Dade County or one of the cities here in South Florida. So definitely reach out, donate, have your friends donate. If you have a company and you want to be a sponsor and you want to get your logo up on our site, if you offer discounts to veterans and you stick with it, we'll actually put your information up on the site. Sometimes we feature the companies that provide these discounts to veterans. Big shout out to Fred's up in Plant City and in Tampa. They give a 25% discount to veterans that come in and eat at the restaurant.
I'm going to start looking you for when we're going around town here, now that you mentioned it, because we have a bunch of places that do that. I'm going to get you the name of the restaurants and places up here so you can put them in the website too.
If you can get any name of restaurant, if someone knows of a veteran organization that provides services to the veterans like fishing, hunting, horseback riding, golfing, any of that, please shoot me an email with their information so I can get it up on the website. When we first started Vet Info, it was to get research information out to the veterans. So if they wanted to get involved in research and with Gulf War illness or some of the other issues that are going on, it would be an easy resource for them to find. Then we started to expand it to say a veteran lives in Washington State and he's wanting to come to South Florida for a vacation. Well, if he does it with enough time, he may be able to sign up for some of the different programs down here, i.e. hunting, fishing, golfing,
right.
Whatever. We just had the city of Doral donated $3,700 for us to create a Vet Info kayak fishing program. But we're going to use it to, take veterans out if they want to go scenic kayaking or if they want to go fishing. We're looking for a bigger corporate sponsor to hopefully donate a boat. We're looking at the Grizzly, which is sold at Bass Pro, that'll hold up to about 9 people if need be. It's like a souped up John boat.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's the big ass gator boat.
That's it.
I know that boat. That's the big. Yeah, that's the gator boat.
Can be comfortable and move around on the boat, and
you got to also remember too that different people with different disabilities and different abilities may require a chair. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's you want to have more real estate than less real estate. I was actually going to tell you when you brought up the South Florida hunting thing, you kind of made me chuckle because I was going to say, hey, Bill, we get us a little party together on the boat again and go down to Intercoastal with the air rifles like we did that one time. And that's about all the hunting you're going to get in South Florida is them iguanas.
Oh, well, remember we also did it with the fly rod. That was pretty fun.
Yeah. We had a good time, man. I introduced Bill to South Florida hunt. I always tell people up here, now that I'm hunting and trapping up here, that down where you live, the only thing you can hunt is iguanas and tourists, and one of them you're going to go to jail for. So, believe it or not, it's the iguanas. But it was a lot of fun, dude. We had a blast. We took a boat down the Fort Lauderdale Intercoastal. I think it was on the main river right there, the eight something another. But this is by $1 million homes, $1 million yachts, and here we are, 4 guys in a boat. 2 of us are YouTubers. 2 of us have high-powered air rifles. Like, this is something where we literally called the Broward Sheriff's Office and said, hey, listen, we're doing this. We have this. We're on this boat. Here's the boat number. There's 4 of us on here. We have air because down there, they'll shoot you. They'll pull guns on. They'll AR-15s will get drawn on you if you're out there shooting them. But, man, Bill did it up. Bill did it with the fishing pole.
Yeah.
Yeah, of all things you catch on a fishing rod, your thing would be a 7-8 pound iguana.
Oh, we had a couple bigger than that.
Yeah, we did. That boat was covered in blood. Like, we had to go to the car wash afterwards. It was bad. But we did clean up a bunch of them in the neighborhood. And they all went to a good place. Some of them went in our bellies, and the rest of them went to somebody else's bellies because we got.
They went in your belly because I ain't eating them damn things.
Man, you got it. Next time I come, I'm gonna get you to try a piece. You got to try it. It can't kill you. The stuff you did over there, that's killing you. Did I go on? It ain't gonna kill you. It may taste bad, but I'm still fearing. We got that video out there right now, Bill, for if I get to 100 likes, I'm going to catch, clean, and cook my first raccoon. Now, I'm already catching them. So we're going to do a live or a catch, clean, and cook once we get to 100 likes. And I've been watching videos on it, and it's 50-50, It's you cook it the right way, it's good. You don't cook it the right way.
Raccoon is a little greasy. Number one, remember,
it's greasy as hell.
I'm from Alabama. I'm from LA, Lower Alabama. So
they're greasy as hell, man. It takes me 2 days soaking them in Dawn dish detergent and still don't even get all the grease out.
Well, for the meat, either soak it in vinegar or buttermilk to get rid of the gamey.
Buttermilk, guaranteed. But what I have learned is for those hunters that hunt bear, raccoon is basically a miniature bear. In all forms and aspects of meat. The fattiness, the texture of the meat, the taste of the meat is compared right to bear. And if you don't cook bear right, it comes out like shoe leather. Just like I've watched on raccoon. So if you don't cook it right and you overcook it, it becomes shoe leather. So the taste, I'm not really worried about. You put enough hot sauce on anything and it tastes good. But I don't know. We're going to see. It's going to be interesting. And then I had somebody ask me about armadillo. Because we got a bunch of armadillos around, and then possum. But I don't know. Armadillo carries hepatitis, and possum, I don't know. I just don't want to eat a possum. There's something about a possum. It's like the ghost face. It messes with me. But, brother, I'm going to let you run. I got you way up past your bedtime. And I want to thank you.
I only started at 4 o'clock this morning. I had to be on a conference with the Department of Defense over, I think we reviewed 16 research projects today. So I got to keep doing what I do to help the veterans. Again, hopefully people can reach out, help fund some of the stuff we do or donate to some of the different things we're doing.
I want to try to get down to you for, we're not talking about a little spew here, guys. It's a 6-hour drive to Bill. But I do want to try to get down for some of these things so I can live stream them, straight live. That way folks can donate right there and we'll make all the donations from those videos go over to you. Just like tonight, if you guys donate anything, if you super chat, super thanks, any donations tonight, I'm going to send them over to VetInfo. So any money for
very
this
much.
that this video gets in monetization will be sent over to VetInfo to help the veterans. So,
and again, if you have friends that would like to donate or family, they can go to our website, and there's a donate button on the right-hand side of the homepage.
there you go. There you go.
If
And
they
I
want to see the video again, they can come back and rewatch it here from your live stream on YouTube.
Yep.
In a
Or you
replay.
can go there and watch it uninterrupted. But I mean, I think it was great that we had the little break-ins there because you had a chance to put context, real world context to what you're visually seeing. That's what really emotionally, that guy, like, I want to tear up every time I think about him. Like, I'm trying to not to tear up now, but I think we did better this way than I even anticipated, to be honest with you. And I hope that you viewers enjoyed it. I really do, for those that hung out and for those watching on the replay. Bill can be found at vetinfo.org or linked in the description box down below of every one of my videos in the partners section. Go over and check out VetInfo. If you guys have any resources, there's a lot of ways you can help. If you find restaurants with donation with veteran breaks, send it over to Bill. If you find programs that are directed and geared toward the vets, send it over to Bill. Worst case scenario, send it to me. I'll send it to Bill. We all work together. So that's, that's how a community grows. It takes a village to raise one veteran. Okay. So we gotta be a village for our veterans. And there's a lot of veterans out there. So we need a big village, Bill. We need
most definitely.
Well, my brother, you go get some rest. I know you're probably going to be able, like 5 a.m. go fish. Show me some pictures of some big fish I don't get to catch no more.
Actually, no, I'm probably going to sleep in because we're going to the football game tomorrow night.
Oh, nice. Yeah, see, those are the kind of events I want to come to as well. And just, show the vets, do the donation things, but also show the vets having a good time, because that's really what it amounts to, is bringing a smile to someone's face and upliftment,
It means a lot. It means a lot to them. People just don't know. It does mean a lot to the veterans. And like I said, I'm not a multi-million-dollar program. We do what we can with what we have.
Exactly. Like me, I ain't a multi-million-dollar YouTuber, guys, but like I have said this on radio, and I'll say it here on YouTube, I may not be rich, but I have a platform and I have a voice, both of which I can utilize any way I see fit, provided it falls within guidelines. And we did not violate any guidelines tonight. We actually did very well, considering some of the stuff we talked about. So with that said, my brother, it's been a night and a lot of thought, but I have a hell of a lot more respect for you after this. That's for sure. That's crazy.
Thanks a lot.
Not to mention, you had to clean the poop bucket, burn the poop bucket, stir the burning poop bucket, take the poop bucket somewhere else, and bury the burnt poop.
Yep.
Hey, I can tell you one thing. At least nobody can say American soldiers are like nasty and dirty, vile people when they go to someone else's country, because y'all literally burned the shit, buried the shit. Like, how much cleaner could y'all have been? Oh, I know that's a bad way to look at it, but y'all like went the extra mile to be extra clean in Afghanistan.
All right, brother. Well,
yeah, man. You have a great
everybody
night.
that tuned in tonight. Thank you for tuning in, and come back and see Infantry Outdoors. He has some wild stuff going on for you.
Oh, that we do. That we do. Well, brother, you have a wonderful night. Make sure you guys go over and check out vetinfo.org. Link down in the description below, or just type in vetinfo.org. I mean, that's not a long URL, so it's not like you can't remember it. But
and they can also follow me at Instagram, vetinfo or vetinfo for vets. That's VETINFO, the number 4, VETS, and me personally is CAPT Bill Watts, Captain Bill Watts.
Wild Captain Bill. That's his Wild Captain Bill. Y'all should see him on a boat. Y'all should see him on a boat. But brother, bless you, man. Give the best to the family, and we're gonna get together soon. You may have to take, like, you come out to Tampa this way, you may just have to take another 2-hour drive and come visit.
Let's see what we can work out.
Yeah, man. Well, you have a great night. Thank you so much for all of this, Bill. I really do hope this helps, boosts, and uplifts everything that you're doing. And I hope that the viewers do show their support, which I'm sure they will.
All righty.
Take care, buddy. You too. All right, everybody. Captain Bill Watts from Vet Info. What a night it's been. With that, my brain hurts. It really does hurt learning about all of this and learning how bad it is and how bad it is for other people. But I thank you guys for participating. I thank you guys for being here. Thank you so much for honoring and supporting our veterans that give their lives there on the ground and afterwards for our country. As for me, the infantry, I'm going to get up, get out of here. It is time to go to bed, Fred. That's what I said. So y'all heard what I said. So y'all got to go to bed like me and Fred. But this coming Tuesday, be sure to check out Trapping Tuesday's new episode on the Trap Line. And on Wednesdays, we're going to wrap up our fur tanning, fur cleaning series as well. And then we'll be back here again with you next Friday for another great Infantry Outdoors live broadcast starting at 10 p.m. Eastern. So as for me, the infantry, I hope that this and all of my adventures here in the program inspires you to get outdoors. Until we meet again, have an amazing day, everybody.
Infantry Outdoors live stream is brought to you in part by Silver Connections Group, a digital marketing agency providing website development, Google boosting, social media management, and so much more. Visit them online at silverconnectionsmobile.com or call today. Also by water purification products, pure water at your fingertips, providing the complete package, including sales, installation, and service, fully licensed and insured. Visit them at waterpurificationproducts.com or give them a call today. Pure water is at your fingertips. And Mayhem Studios for all your multimedia needs. They'll give your videos a professional look. Contact them at mayhemstudios@yahoo.com. And also, don't forget, use promo code Infantry to unlock more savings.